Can you hear yourself when you just said that?
Did I what?
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
All right, Sam, speak up.
That's so
Just
weird.
count.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, I want it to be. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound vulgar, but the closer you can be on that mic, like touching your lips almost, is the better.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, closer the better.
The closer. I was up here talking shit like, do I just put my mouth on it?
If you want to, I only clean them like once a month, and we have a. No, I'm joking. This is the first show I don't have the muttons over them because I wanted to wash them. So this is the first time they're like brand new. You know what I'm saying? No, I always had these over them, and I just took them out after the right for recovery
Oh, okay.
because it was gross out there, and I gotta mute that back.
Can you hear me?
Everyone can hear the music and us talking.
Oh.
We'll be live in a few minutes. used to having a person who did all this shit. Now I figured it out myself. No support.
Learning experience.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Bingo. Welcome back to the Attitude for Gratitude weekly podcast, everybody. And tonight we've got a show of shows. Well, we'll find that out in about an hour. We'll be like, that was garbage, Tim.
Damn.
We'll see how it goes. No, I said Tim, not Jamie and Sam. They'll be like, damn, that was good if it wasn't for you, Tim. All right, listen, if you're out there and you're hurting tonight, just please stick around, reach out. You're worth the fight. Like, we get it. People struggle, and this shit's real. You hear everyone talk about it each week on here, and I'll put up some hotlines, and we're going to talk about different meetings. I'm going to advertise some meetings, but basically you hear people come on here every week talking about this new way of living. What I'm getting at is if you're struggling, please reach out. You're worth it. You're worth it. If no one told you yet today, let me be the first to say, I love you. You. Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
I love you too.
Thank you. Oh, you're talking to me. No, for real though, just please reach out if you're struggling tonight. We got the message board if you're on Facebook or YouTube. They're both linked together. And if you are struggling or if you got questions or if there's some way you want to see the conversation go, you want us to elaborate on something, post something in the comments. I'll make sure to get to it. And if I don't, don't take it personal. We just get a lot of people that post questions. I'll put my phone number up just like I do every week, and you can message me directly if you're not comfortable putting it on the comments here. 2218. That's where we're at tonight. The podcast is at 2218 tonight in room 24. And I'm going to tell you guys about some things that happened here at 2218. We just did the Ride for Recovery, and it was amazing. Good turnout, even with a little bit of rain. It was a great turnout. Safe ride. No one got injured. There's a little bit of rain on the ride. Some people, split off and went home. But whatever the case was, a lot of bikers came back here, and it was a whole day of fun. We got to hear a couple of people share their experience, strength, and hope. We had a comedian here, which was a pretty edgy comedian. I was pretty surprised to hear the stuff he was talking about. Yeah. But it was a good turnout. And the food, they cooked a 200-plus pound pig that everything got eaten up, and it was just a good turnout. So thank you, everyone who participated. The Millers, you guys crushed it. All the volunteers. This whole place runs off volunteers, and thank you, everyone, for stepping up. Thank you, 2218, for giving us a day of fun. We have Al-Anon back in the building here at 2218. They've been going strong now for a month or two. It's every Thursday night at 7 p.m. in room 23. Come check that out. Al-Anon is for the family members of alcoholics and addicts. But the Ride for Recovery advertisement we don't need anymore. We do have a freedom dance coming up, and that is, were you trying to kill that?
No, I'm trying to turn that fucking thing on. It's hot.
Yeah, it is on, isn't it?
It is. It's on.
There's a fan back there. You can turn that on, and that should blow on you.
All right.
Yeah, I got here 2 hours early to turn the air on, but this AC is from the 30s, so a pile of ice and a fan in front of it would probably be better. We got the Freedom Dance coming up. This is July 8th and 9th, and that is July 8th, and it starts at 9 p.m., goes to midnight. Come join us for our Sober Freedom Dance. There'll be popcorn, NA drinks for sale. Oh, non-alcoholic drinks for sale. A DJ, dance. It'll be good times. It is alcohol and drug-free. No addict or alcoholic will be turned away. I think there's a $5 suggested entry. So come on down, check that out. It'll be a blast. We got ACA in the house. This is kind of newer. Adult Children of Alcoholics has come to 2218 First Avenue South. This is on Saturday nights at 6:30 p.m. in room 23. It's a big book study. All are welcome. We also talked about an event coming up. She was on the show last week before the Ride for Recovery. It's a celebration. It's a Freedom from Addiction celebration on July 8th and 9th. It's a camp out. It's a red, white, and barbecue, fireworks, food, fellowship. It's out in Anoka. So the address is 7077 Old Viking Boulevard. If you want some more info, I'll put the contact. It's Nellie. She was awesome. I had her on the show. I rescheduled her to come back on for a longer period of time so we could really dive into her story. But it's going to be fun. They have a hot tub. There's going to be volleyball, camping, Chinese lantern releasing, all sorts of stuff. So check that out. I will put the info up while one of my guests are sharing their story tonight. And also the Red Road, Shinaku Luta, Twin City, Mitikuke, Ayakasin, all my relations. You know what? Sorry if I misspoke on those native tongues. I'm trying to read it, and I just don't know how to speak. I almost said Ojibwe, and I don't even know if that's the right indigenous people talk. So check it out. It's a potluck, feed, and fast. Don't laugh at me. I'm trying. Oh, my God. I got someone upset already. Uh-oh. So check it out. What this is it's called the Red Road. They were here at 2218, and it is still going on. They've just moved. It's the Church of... Great. The Church of Gichituwa Kitira 1. This is at 3045 Park Avenue South. I will, if you're interested about it, reach out to me directly. I will send you a screenshot of the flyer for this. And I do apologize. I meant no disrespect for that when I was trying to pronounce it. And that goes for the next thing I'm going to talk about. We have a new meeting that has started, and it starts right now. It's at 8 o'clock on Fridays in, I believe, room 23. It's called Friends of Dorothy. It is a LGBTQ plus sensory-friendly meeting. Now, we're going to get some of the members from that meeting in here to really explain what all that means, because out of respect, I want them to explain it so I don't do any disrespect towards them. I just know that it's welcome to all, and if you're not feeling comfortable at the meetings you're going to and you want to check out something different, come down here and check that out. Again, it's a Friends of Dorothy. Friends of Dorothy. Come on down. Check it out. We got the 32nd annual Heartland Roundup coming up September 8th, 9th, 10th. There's a lot going on. There's a lot coming up, and that's way up in Park Rapids. So, what is the address? 20033 County Road 1. I act like I may have known it on the top of my head. I don't have a clue about where it was. I saw it on the flyer. So, it's the Heartland Roundup. What else? Am I missing anything? Nope. Welcome back, everybody. What was that? Did I miss some?
Well, I mean, there's a couple NA conventions coming up.
Speak on it.
So there's a NA convention next weekend,
Louder.
6th, 7th, and 9th in New Orleans. And then there's also SFRICNA, which is the South Florida Regional Narcotics Anonymous Convention.
Is that the cruise one?
Nope. This one's August 10th, 11th, 12th. Flying to Fort Myers, Florida, and it's at the Bonita Springs Hotel. Is it the Bonita Springs Hotel?
You guys are going to that, right?
Yes.
You have family down there, right? We'll talk about this in a little bit. Stop. I don't want to. I just. Are you guys going on that cruise one?
They're booked.
Booked out. Negative.
You're not. You didn't make the cut.
We didn't make the
It was
cut.
first come, first serve type of deal, right? That says a lot about that program. Think about it. Like, they got a whole cruise already booked out, and it's just strictly recovery stuff. That's awesome. Anything? What else?
Pig.
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 Tell us about Pig. What is Pig besides what we ate on Saturday here at the club?
It is camping, eating pig.
Oh, they do. Do they do a pig?
Yes.
Is that where it kind of came from? It was like,
Yeah.
we're gonna roast a pig, and
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we float down the river, and it's a weekend of camping, good times. Speakers.
In Wisconsin,
Yes, Somerset.
Somerset. Oh, all right. Sorry about that. I forgot to tell my guests, like, let's silence their phones. So who you just heard was a girl named Jamie, and you heard Sam. I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. Again, I'm going to put up a hotline, and I'm going to put my phone number up. Just remember tonight, like, if you're struggling any other time, please reach out. You're worth the fight. You're going to hear two people share about some experience, strength, and hope, and see what it was like. And, like, maybe you can relate that, you know, times get bad, but we put a little footwork in, things can change. So, you know what? Fuck, let's get after it. Huh?
Yeah.
What's up? Who are you?
My name's Sam, and I'm an addict.
Hey, Sam.
I'm Jamie, I'm an addict.
Hey, Jamie. Welcome to the podcast. It's your guys' first time on the show.
Yes.
I know you guys are faithful listeners, be following me since day one, and like my biggest advocators, and I'm talking shit. So, who would like to start with tell me who you are and give us a little experience, strength, and hope? Come on, batters up.
I guess I'll go first.
All right.
My name's Sam. Once again, I'm an addict, and this is fucking foreign and awkward as fuck to me, but I'm here, and I show up when I'm asked to, right?
Yes.
So back in 2012, you know what I'm saying, was my last, what happened was 2012,
Yeah.
got in a high-speed chase with the ATM in the back of the car. Right?
You said ATM?
ATM,
Okay.
yes, correct. ATM in the back of the car, and I got caught and was looking at 10 years in prison. And my addict thinking was like I was gonna go to this. I went to this little tiny Chisago County jail, and I was like, I'm gonna start going to these meetings and these Bible studies and these things in this jail, so that when I go to Teen Challenge, I'll be able to get an upper hand on them. I'll get out of there in 12 months instead of 16.
So, sorry, this is going to happen amongst both you guys, Sharon. So, your intent was not to, like, get better. It was to make things easier for you moving forward legally?
Exactly.
Okay.
To
Nope.
manipulate the system.
Yes, jump
We-
through the hoops.
we know about that stuff,
We
but
know
yeah, okay,
all about
okay.
that. But then what happened was, again, is like I went to these meetings and I started hearing some messages that made sense to me. Some people came in there and shared honestly, and it began to break down my walls of uniqueness. Right? So I was looking at 10 years in prison. I got a public defender that showed up. This is fucking weird.
What, telling us the story?
I can share in a meeting, man. I can share in a meeting.
It's easier for you
but
to do it in
this
front of
fucking-
people, not
no,
us.
Like, yeah, you're fucking damn near sucking on your microphone over there. Like, I feel weird.
Oh, here, let's do this. There.
All right, fuck it. Here we go. I'm like sweating. It's fucking hot. Let's go. All right. So anyway,
You know what? It's not that hot in here. You're just letting it get. You're getting in your head about this.
Yeah.
So check it out. Here,
Look,
we'll make some things
bend
different.
this
There you
motherfucker
go.
all
Yeah,
around
there we
here.
go.
Loosen up.
Um,
All right. Anyways, what happened? I started going to these meetings, man. Some people started coming in here and like sharing and shit, and somehow, some way, my public defender got me 10 years of probation. Right?
That's me. It's my phone. I don't know why it keeps trying to turn on.
You're supposed to turn your phone off.
Good call.
Yeah.
Good call. So they put 10 years on you.
10 years. 10 years. Yes. I
Was it like color wheel and like all this jazz, or no? Because it
No.
wasn't drug related, really, was it?
No. Well, it was the first time that I actually honestly got honest in the courtroom. I went in the courtroom and I was like, here's the deal. All these offenses my whole life have been due to my drug problem. And I was trying to I was still fishing for the Teen Challenge card or whatever, you know what I mean? I was still thinking I was jumping through hoops. I didn't automatically 1 minute go to a meeting and figure like I was going to change
But
it
like,
around.
do you remember the time in between, like, when you got clipped to when you went in front of the judge and really like came clean, like, look, I have a problem, blah blah blah. Was there in between that time is when you kind of started hearing a message, or you know what I'm asking?
I started hearing the message in the jail, right? But I was gonna jump through the hoops, but there's something that started to change. That little voice in the back of my mind that says you got to do something different got real loud in that jail.
In
So, like,
Chisago.
Yes, in Chisago County Jail. So there's like every addict, alcoholic, I believe everybody has that little voice in the back of their head. It's like, you got to do something different. And it stays quiet, right? But all of a sudden, like, it gets really fucking loud. And you do something different. You start doing something different. Well, after I shared with the judge that I've been using, I was just 100% honest with everybody. And I was like, I'm going to do something different. And I got out, started hanging with the same people, went to the bar, ran into the cop that shot my dog. It was a mess, right? Like, and I woke up the next morning like, what the fuck?
Wait, all right.
Yes. No.
Brake pumping.
Yeah.
You got the judge bought the BS and let you out, or you were out on
He
probation, or
let
like
me out on parole.
on bail or whatever?
Yep.
All right.
They let me out. No, they let me out on parole. They sent me to prison for 1 day
Okay.
to get my OID number, so that if I fuck up, they send me.
You're
send me
going
away.
right in.
Yeah. So I got out, as soon as I seen the parole officer on Thursday, that next day on Friday, I went to the bar and I got drunk and I ran into the police officer that raided my house that shot my dog. And I walked up to him drunk as fuck, talking about, oh, thank you, this, that, and the other. You saved my life. I was fucking just stupid, right?
Just drunk dumb.
Yeah,
Drunk dumb.
Stupid, drunk, dumb. You know, alcohol isn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't the problem. I woke up the next morning like, fuck, I'm going to prison. Like, this dude's going to call my parole officer. It's a wrap. It's over. I went to the parole officer the next week or whatever. He was like, I think you should go to this meeting down the road.
In Chisago?
No, this is northeast.
back home now?
Yep, back home.
Where was home?
Northeast Minneapolis.
Okay.
I went to this meeting, man, and my sister brought me to this meeting.
It's not your sister.
Yeah,
gonna
my
get into
sister.
that,
This
too.
is 2012. My sister brought me to this meeting because I was so nervous to go into this fucking meeting by myself. I was cool and safe, and I run around the streets and go to all the trap houses. That was okay, but it was real awkward to walk into a church with a bunch of random people I didn't know. I go into this meeting with my sister. Shout out to Sarah for 90 days.
Whoa. Hey, wait a sec. Watch this. That's the audience.
That's the audience. Holy fuck, it's hot in here.
Take your headphones off.
Yeah, you're
Drink
gonna
some
have to,
cold water.
you're gonna have to clean these fucking
What? What you talking about? The mics?
this-
You're good.
all of it. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. I went to that first meeting. I got some numbers, and I went to a second meeting. I ran into my sponsor. I ran into
What
a-
sponsor? From jail sponsor?
No, ran into a sponsor the one that got me connected into this program that I am today. I walked into this meeting and I heard him sharing about he got his clean time. He was talking about he had 27 felonies, been to prison a bunch of times, this, that, and the other. I was like, I can relate to him. Then another lady got up and got 25 years, and she was screaming, do the steps or die, motherfucker, and this and that and the other. And she looked like this old ass lady, you know what I mean, that you would never think that would share like that. I was like, holy shit. Like, I heard two messages, and at the end of the meeting, I walked up to this guy that had this 27 felonies. I said, like, we're the two the same, right? Like, I probably had just as many felonies. I just didn't get caught. Will you sponsor me? He said, yeah, I'll sponsor you. But first, I need you to go get 5 guys' phone numbers. And he pointed out 5 guys' phone numbers in that meeting. I said, okay. No, I'm not doing that.
You told them no?
Yeah, fuck no. It was a hard 100%, I'm not doing that. Like, you got me fucked up. Like, forget it. I even came up to you, and he was like, look, man, if there was the dope dealer and he was trying to get high, you'd be sitting on their front step waiting for him to get home. And when he said that, it clicked. And he was like, he's right? And he was like, these are the new plugs. And I didn't have shit to say to that, man. And like, I walked up to these 5 guys, and I'm like fucking sweating like I'm sweating right now in this fucking room.
How? I just re-aimed the AC at you, dog.
I think it's my anxiety. So like, I
Bro.
used to sweat like this when I first got clean and when I shared. I don't know what it is. This is
Maybe you should
Different.
just start sharing instead and let him cool off for a sec. God
Yeah.
damn, this ain't that big a deal.
Look,
Wait a
look,
sec,
look,
wait.
look. I will donate you a new AC
This
next
is a club
time.
now. Yeah, we're good.
We'll get you a new one.
I appreciate the offer. But wait a sec.
Look.
So this sponsor, this dude told you he put it into layman terms for you.
Look, yes, no, more or less. Layman's
All right,
terms,
so how
yeah.
can I put something into layman terms for you? Like, dog, you're really sweating this over a couple
No.
of us talking, and
It's. I used to sweat like this a lot. So I was sweating like this when I asked this dude to sponsor me. Right? It's bringing back some old memories and shit up in here. Anyways, I walked up to these 5 guys, and I walked back over to them, and I said, will you sponsor me? Well, can I get your number now? And he said, yeah, I'll sponsor you, but now you got to come out to eat with us.
something we call fellowship.
Yeah. And I looked at him. I was like, look, bro, I just got out of prison, my 1 day in prison. I just got out of prison. I don't have no money. My sister gave me a ride. I gave him like every excuse in the book, and I pretty much said, fuck no, I'm not doing it. He said, look, man, tell your sister to go home. I didn't ask you if you had any money. That guy right there that you got that phone number from, he's going to give you a ride home. I'm going to give you my phone number. You're going to come out to eat with us. He said, treat your recovery like you treat your addiction and you're going to be okay. Right? And from that day forward, man, my life began to change slowly but surely.
Did that make sense to you that early in recovery when he said like just treat your recovery like you treat? It clicked like that early.
It clicked like that. Like it was like a light switch. Like I remember that like yesterday. So I walked up to my sister, or I gave him a hug, and he like pushed me back because I'm like sweating. He was like, "Holy fuck, dude!" Like that's how nervous I was, right? Second meeting ever, and I'm actually doing something different than I've ever done in my entire life.
Right.
I've used since I was a baby. Like my mom and dad were addicts from day one.
So without going back into a lot of your past, but addiction or use was always part of your story. Always. Okay. We don't need to.
Yeah.
So
Deep.
I like where you started though. I like where you started. Like, look, I got in trouble. Ended up here. First meeting. That was your second meeting outside of.
Second meeting. Yes.
So he's like, tell your sister to go home,
Tell your sister to go home. Come on out to eat. Now I'm sitting down at what is it? Acapulco or La Casita? Acapulco. And I look at this fucking menu. Not one fucking picture on it. Half the shit's in Spanish. And it's clicking, like, man, like I ain't really never fucking sat down. I'm 28 years old, and I've never sat down at a restaurant before. Because I've been an addict my whole life. Like, I know how to make some shit in jail. I know how to order some shit out the dollar menu. There ain't even no fucking dollar menu anymore, but I know how to order some shit out the dollar menu. I can fucking crunch some noodles and some chips and some B6 and some cheese shit. Like, I can do all that, but, like, I've never sat down at a restaurant, right? So I'm looking at this fucking menu and I'm like, oh, I start sweating again, dude. Like, this shit's awkward. And it's clicked like, man, damn, man, shit's like, something has to change. That little voice in the back of your mind, something has to change. Like, because, like, you've never even sat down at a restaurant. So I looked at left, right. I'm sweating. I'm fucking feeling uncomfortable again. I passed him this thing. And I was like, look, man, I don't know what to order. He said, get this right here, Poppy. Get this right here. It's a wet burrito. Shit's fire. Like, I still, to this day, I go back and get a wet burrito from Acapulco. Shit's fucking good.
That's where they dunk it in that Barrero sauce or whatever.
No,
it's fire.
They cover it with cheese.
Nah. All right.
Yeah.
Real quick, Dave Mickelson was like, calm down, Sam. It's going to be okay.
See?
Chicken nugget.
Brian G. Yeah, no, we got people checking it. We got people checking it.
Yeah.
Telling you to just suck it up. You're going to be fine.
It shit feels awkward. All right. Well, here we go.
All right, well, real quick. I had a question come in. Like, was this your first consequence? Was the ATM getting pulled over?
No, I got 5 felonies.
All right, so you've dealt with some legal shit.
Mm-hmm.
This was you've had ramifications. This was the first time that really, and it wasn't even you're like, I need to make a change. You're like, I'm going to change so I don't get in bigger trouble. That's initially how it started, right?
Yeah.
Kind of from what you shared. All right, so now you're at Acapulco and things are clicking.
Yes, the voice is getting louder, right? Like, since that day forward, man, like I was going to these parole meetings and stuff, and like I was going to meetings every day. For the first year and a half, I think I went to 3 meetings a day because every time I would go home, my mom and dad were smoking dope with my ex-girlfriend. I was still living in the same house that I got high in my whole life for 18
That's
months.
hard.
One of the hardest, yeah, it's not easy, right? Like,
And is that where you were at on paper that you had to be at? One of those deals? Because, you know, when you're on, like, supervised,
Yeah.
you got to be at the address. That's hard.
super, it's not easy.
So you're like, fuck it, I can go to a meeting.
Yeah, so I would go to like 3 meetings a day, right? Like, and next thing you know, I was going to my parole officer with like 3 different church keys in my pocket. And I was like, you can, like, I was just showing her, they let me off probation in 4.5 years, and I had a 10-year probation sentence, right?
Because you're putting in work.
Putting in work, getting that blue card signed front, back, and I would tell her, just give me a stack of them cards, and I would bring her back a stack every time I go see her, right? And it was all honest. It was an honesty thing, too. So I was a chair, GSR, co-chair, secretary. Like, I played every position, coffee maker, greeter. As soon as I jumped all in, right? when I got here, there was nobody here. I always share that part of my story.
What do
too.
you mean?
None of my old friends. Like, there's nobody here. Like, I got here, I had made all new friends. I let go of everybody. Like, my mom and dad and my ex-girlfriend were all getting high in my house. But it was, I didn't really fucking talk to them. Like, I would go straight to my room, straight to meetings, straight to my room, straight to meetings, straight to work, straight to my room, straight to meetings. Like,
So I know
that's
this
all
is a
did.
silly kind. Let me clarify something with both you guys. Like, I'm gonna ask some questions that to us it's dumb, but we've got listeners that aren't in recovery that are thinking about getting into recovery. So like, some of the questions I'm gonna ask you might just seem really silly, but bear with me. This isn't. I hope this isn't one of them. But so like, you got your mom, dad, ex-girlfriend. Just because they're smoking dope, like, did you have any support from them?
Negative.
None.
No, none. Zero.
Were they on some, "Oh, you're good, just go ahead and try" type shit, or?
For sure.
Okay, so there was
Yeah.
all, not just that you were around it, you also had some peer
Yeah.
pressure type shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was right in my face. Like, I would come home from a meeting. I remember getting my 18 months clean, coming home, like, feeling great, right? Walking by my mom and dad's room, or my mom's room, and my ex-girlfriend was in there smoking dope, and they hurried up, shut the door, because they knew I'd snap. And I walked into my dad's room, and he fell over and had a seizure because he kept smoking, and he wasn't supposed to be smoking, right? So at 18 months clean, like, I felt at the highest highs. I went home that night, and I was ready to fucking snap. And then I went down, instead of like snapping and doing what I normally would do. I mean, I did probably put my hand through the walls at that time. I was still doing that.
Some anger.
Early in recovery, like my hands are all smashed up. But I called somebody, man. I called somebody with 30 years clean. I went to his house, and all he did was open his door and gave me and made some coffee. And to this day, like, I cherish that dude, right? He showed
Connections.
Up. Yeah, he showed up for me. He was a block away, right? And there's a couple people that showed up for me when when I was struggling with that early in recovery, and like, if they ever called, I would always show up for them, right?
But that's like what taught you, like you said, you shared that basically you made a change. Everything about everything got changed. The only thing I guess would be like you stayed in that house, but you kind of had to at that time. You had no other options.
I mean, I own the house now, and my mom and dad are gone. So, like, I mean, yes, I did stay in that house. I don't recommend it. It's not
No,
easy.
hell no.
I
If
mean-
you don't have to be around people smoking dope in early recovery, no, don't do it.
So-
Don't do it.
I got here. No, yes, please, yeah, don't do it. It
But
was not
I mean,
easy.
and I get it. You were also, there were some different circumstances, and like looking back at it, like even right now, like you were thirsty for some recovery to be able to
Yes.
walk through that shit and not pick back
so
up.
after 3 years, I had enough. Like, something in me like broke, and I thought I had it. I was working steps. I was doing all this stuff. I went back out and drank, and that's when I ran into Jamie, right? Like, in like shit's been
15, 16, 2000. Would you say that happened in 2012? The original
16. So
He originally got clean in 12.
in 12. All right, and you
Yeah,
stayed clean
12.
for about 3 years,
yep, 3.5 years.
and shit was going good those 3 years.
Shit was going good.
And what, you stubbed your toe?
Yeah.
People talk
Yeah.
about this, like it wasn't the death of this or your dad having some big event. Usually, you hear people talk about a relapse over some small, like, oh shit, I broke a plate. I'm gonna get high.
Yeah. No, it's.
Do you remember what the reason was? Even
I do. I remember.
hey,
Like,
look, Mama's over there shaking her head, like, yeah.
I had 3 jobs. I quit all 3 jobs to take this one job in New Mexico. I drove down to New Mexico, and it wasn't working out there, and some shit was going on at the house. I had my own little place, and like the bill, I was falling, like I wasn't able to show up and pay the bills, and the ex-girlfriend that decided to get clean for a while, she relapsed. She was smoking dope and getting high and doing stuff in the house. And when I came home, like, I went straight to the bar, and I went and got fucking smashed.
It was like just an instinct,
like a light switch.
and you didn't even think. You just like, I'm gonna just have some drinks.
No, it was a light switch. Like, I thought after 3 years of working a program, I thought like I would never use again. The urge was gone, but it was like a light switch, and it was like I went straight to the bar with somebody, and
And what was that thought?
There you go,
was
close.
it?
Yeah, come on.
What was the thought that you had?
fuck it.
No.
Oh, reboot my recovery.
Yeah, he wanted to reboot his recovery.
What do you
Yeah.
mean by that?
So like I wanted to feel like I felt like when I first got clean.
That
You were
pink cloud.
chasing. You know what?
The pink cloud.
We're some fucking addicts.
Yeah.
You were an addict.
I wanted
You were
to-
chasing the high
so-
of that pink cloud.
Yeah. So
So I got an idea.
Yeah.
How retarded are we? I got an idea. I'm gonna go get fucked up so I can do this all over again and enjoy them early days. Did I
Yes.
recap that right?
Yep.
Correct.
Ah, yeah, I like this.
That was the
Okay.
light switch. It was like something in my mind was like I'm gonna reboot my recovery. I can tell you it didn't do shit but put me in a dark place for 2 weeks.
And at this time though, you were still on legal. You had legal shit still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't even supposed to go to New Mexico with I was on probation. I was like wasn't supposed to leave the state.
Okay.
Like newcomers do newcomer stuff, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's not a valid cop out reason,
I'm
but it's
just-
what happens.
I'm saying.
No, I get it.
wasn't
I get
perfect,
it.
Right? Like I'm still not perfect at all by any means.
Oh, we got Mexico checking in today. Hey, Rick, the Deans are down in Mexico and they're listening down there. So
Hey, guys.
thank you. Yeah, and I'm glad to hear Sean's doing good. So you're doing some newcomer shit. You're
Yeah.
going out of state, which, if I'm not mistaken, on 10 years pro, like you're not supposed to leave the state.
I got a speeding ticket down there or something. I was so nervous I was gonna violate. It was bad.
You're like they're gonna extradite me back to the big house.
I thought it was gonna happen.
Okay, so you go to reboot.
Yeah.
What happens?
I had like 50. I had so many people showing up at my house and trying.
People from recovery.
Yes. Yes.
Did you let it be known, like fuck, I'm going back out? Did you tell people, like, looking back at it now, did you?
I've been posting the Just for Today for 10 years on my Facebook feed, and when I stopped posting it for 2 weeks straight, people knew. People showed up. People called. People were at my door, knocking on my door. People were calling, and it took a certain person that like he texted me and was like, just come to work. And I got up and I went to work with him and I started doing stuff and
He knew that you went back out.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he said just come to work, and that was what I was struggling with the most. Is like, I had first got my first apartment, and I was failing at life. At 3 years clean, felt like I was failing at
Right.
life. I wasn't paying my bills. I wasn't able to pull my weight, and that was the biggest thing, right?
You let it take, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck this.
What's the point?
Yeah, I can, yeah, whatever. And that's what happened.
Nah, this is where I pump the brakes because I don't cosign. What do you mean? You're like, no, what do you mean?
What?
What are you talking about? You're like, you said like you couldn't make it. You didn't feel like you could make it in life.
I felt like I was failing at life, so I was like, I need to reboot I don't know what. There's all kinds of thoughts that went through my head. I can tell you though, when I was packing my shit up out of that house where I was staying at, and I was like, fuck this, I'm moving out. I'm going back to my mom's. I'm gonna get back into recovery. I'm rebooting my recovery. As I was walking out with my shit, Jamie had walked in. And she was on her way. She had just got out of prison. She was on her way into the house that I was like getting the fuck away from before I went back.
The
to getting
dope,
high.
your
Yeah, pretty
the dope
much.
house,
Yeah,
basically.
pretty
We're gonna
much.
get to your story. I'm curious now because I don't know how you guys met or what.
Pretty much. So I had 3 years of some pretty much like mostly solid recovery.
It sounds like
most-
good. You were making connection, taking
Yeah.
positions.
I mean, there were some rules I was breaking. I was like driving without my license, and I was leaving state for jobs, and
But he was doing it for the greater good.
yeah.
I mean,
was
yeah, your
trying-
head tells you
yeah.
that, sure. And you also you weren't using.
Yeah, I wasn't. I
Like
didn't-
the first-
I didn't put no dope on.
Yeah,
it,
the
right.
first thing we don't do is
We
pick
don't
up. Yeah.
And then other shit starts changing slowly but surely, right? I walked out. Jamie was walking in. I was like, "You probably don't want to go in there."
Did you know her?
Oh, I knew her from the past. Yeah. I was
Okay.
like, "You probably don't want to go in there." She was like, I'm good. I'm good.
I got this.
I
Were you
got
in
this."
recovery?
Nope.
Oh.
Well, I had some clean time, but I was not in recovery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this. Yeah, I'm glad we're both here because I need to.
Yeah.
I almost want to say, all right, now your turn. I want you to pick up and start telling us till you get to that point. But I can follow. It might be hard for other people too. So keep going.
I'll
though.
show. I'll.
No.
Look,
Keep going. So
she was like, 2 weeks later, she had hit. I was like, you should come with me to this meeting. As she's walking into this house, and she was like, nah, it's good, it's good. Well, my ex-girlfriend started messing with her boyfriend or her person that she was talking to at the same. And then 2 weeks later, she had figured this shit out, and she was like, what's that meeting you're talking about?
Listen,
So,
listen.
look, I was like, it's right over here. It's one of the biggest meetings, South Minneapolis. Here's the address. She was like, okay, I'll come. And then she called me back. She's like, I ain't got no gas money. And I was like, shit, I got $20. And I still had yet to see that $20. But
Lord, sorry.
no, I was like, I got $20. And she was like, okay, I'll come. And then she came to the meeting, man. And I'll remember this like
You'll
yesterday
tell
too.
this
I
every
tell this
time.
story every time because it's like she was walking into the meeting and she was really, like, honestly walking through the parking lot looking in windows, and I'm like, look, man, you can't do that no more. Like, we don't live that way no more.
I didn't even realize what I was doing. He was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm walking through the parking lot." And he was like, "You're looking in car windows." And I
Yeah.
was like, "Nah, maybe."
Yeah.
But
So that's a whole nother story. For 18 months, she kept looking in, or no, maybe a year, 18 months, she was looking in
listen,
windows.
old
Look.
habits die hard. When you live a lifestyle for a long period of time, like some of those habits are hard to break.
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So she came into the bakery. She had some years clean. This was her third prison bid, and she had some years clean. And I had got up in front of like 120 people and gave her her clean time, right? And she had got all her tags, and she was bright red, and she was like, that's probably why she fucking had struggle going to meetings for 8 months after that, because that was a lot. But I'm so grateful, like, God had put the people in my life that he did, right? Like, he put that public defender in my life that got me 10 years of probation instead of 10 years in prison. He put that guy in my life that, like, when I was ready to snap and my mom and dad were using, like, he opened his door for me and made me some coffee. I'm grateful for that dude that had 27 felonies that decided to wouldn't let me say no, right? He was like, this is the deal. Like, these are the plugs, and this is what's going to change your life, and you need to just hang on and come with me. Like, I'm grateful for a lot of things that happened in my life, and I'm grateful that 90 days ago, my sister that brought me to my first 2 meetings decided, like, she wanted to do something different, right? And God had did so much for me, man. There's so much to my story, and a half hour just doesn't cut it. Like,
Bro, we can go 5 hours.
we ain't doing 5 hours. I've been sweating.
Are you for
I'm
real?
still
You
sweating.
want to
yeah.
switch with me? This is banging on me. We can switch spots.
Yeah, and we might have to.
Listen, all right, but all right.
Look, anyway, so like, I'm grateful for a lot of things. Like, I got like one of the prayers.
But wait, no, you fast forward in here.
Yeah,
You
I
went
am.
and drank. Then what happened? Like,
What happened after that?
yeah, like, how did you find the rooms again? We can't just
Oh, yeah,
go from.
Look, he's trying to get us for like. What, you got messages coming in from people? Look, James
No,
on the phone.
no. What I'm saying is like.
I did. I went and drank. I got
Yeah.
back into the program. I got connected with another sponsor.
No consequence. You went and drank. Like, you're like, bucket, whatever. All this stuff happened. You went back out
No.
for what, a day or for like a year?
I
Or
jumped back in
Just
the
that one
program.
night.
that one night?
Just
Oh,
one night.
okay.
One
I
night.
don't know your guys' story. I don't know. Neither do these people.
Right, I get it.
So,
get
and
it.
no, I'm not trying to dig out deep. I'm just
So I went back out one night. I jumped back in the program right where I left.
so right away.
Yeah, right where I left off. I don't even think my sponsor didn't even make me start my steps over. Like, he
Okay.
just continued down the road. Like, you went back out and you drank one. It is what it is. Like, every sponsor does stuff different, right?
Mm-hmm. What fellowship were you was it? Were you in AA or NA or GMA? Like, what CMA? Like,
It's
It's on you.
never,
NA.
Never alone. NA. I just
if you're not comfortable, it's all good. Like I said before the show, it's on you how you want to share. I
I'm
shouldn't have
trying
asked
to-
you that bold-faced question like that. I'm sorry. If you wanted to tell people what fellowship you were going to, but you brought up the bakery, so anyone who knows that knows what
Yeah.
that is.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't even say the bakery. You know
Yeah,
what it
no.
was.
Yeah,
you
just
did.
by me
You
explaining
said
it.
you said
bakery.
she,
Oh, okay.
you're in front
Yeah.
of 110.
So I've said clean. I've said bakery.
yes.
I've said addict.
You never
I've
said sober. You didn't say. Yeah, I
Yeah,
get it. Yep.
Like, there's a bunch of things that I've said, but I haven't threw my fellowship
hey.
out just because I've worked steps and I've worked traditions, and you can tell when someone works steps and works traditions, but it's just by how they talk, right?
Yeah, I know.
And it's a podcast, and it's like whatever it is, what it is. So like you can tell who's worked some steps and some traditions and some like I haven't done no concepts, but I heard them before a few times. But like, I don't know, man. I've never shared my story and had questions.
That's right. That's what I was. I should have.
Midpoint,
Did you read that long ass message I sent you? Most people
I
don't.
don't do
If
that
you
shit.
sent him a long text message, you aren't getting you aren't getting a response, and two, you didn't read the whole thing.
Well, listen, you're coming on a podcast. This was the only info about that podcast,
Yeah.
and that's what it said. The opening one was, "Here's what to expect."
Yeah.
Well, I didn't get the message.
Dad. All right, we did get someone. Christina S says, "You two are so damn perfect together that it's almost annoying."
I feel, girl, listen, ain't no such thing as perfect.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I jumped back in this program, man, and like this is the best 7 years of my life, right? Me and Jamie got together, man, and like we really went all in this program. Got sponsors. We travel all the time. We run a nonprofit rescue. Like, there's so many things I'm grateful for today. Like, I can't explain. Like, this is the best 7 years of my life. Like, we have traveled. I can't even name all this. She's got a memory like no other. Like, if it wasn't for her, like, I would be lost, right? Oh, you know.
Well, I've got a list. I got a.
If you go to a meeting, you hear, oh,
Aw.
you know what that is?
It's a mating call.
Newcomer mating call. Stop it. No, every time you hear that, every time you hear that, you're gonna be like the newcomer mating call. Aww.
I like that.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit.
I got a whole list of things that you're gonna get some questions about, like about some of the traveling stuff. Because anyone who's on Facebook that knows you guys, like, you see stuff, and like there's some questions that are coming too. We just wanted to get familiar with who you are. Jamie,
What's up?
talk to me. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your story.
Well, same kind of background. Grew up in a house full of addicts where using and crime was like the norm. I don't know. Like, I grew up as a kid, like watching shows like Casino and Goodfellas, and thinking like that's
there for a minute, and I'm gonna sit here.
that's that was like the life that I was meant to like grow up and live. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I started using it at like a really young age, and first time I ever got a bag of dope, I was like 13 or 14, and you know, I don't know. It was just like I remember that precise moment where like I was drinking as a young kid, preteens. I was, you know, smoking weed and doing like the gateway shit. And then it was like, as soon as I got my like first taste of like my drug of choice, it was like off to the races. You know, I was awarded the state. Like, I've been in and out of group homes, in and out of foster homes. I ran away to go be with my mom, who I used with. That was like my running street buddy.
Your mom was?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. My dad was the rock that always told me, like, you're going to fucking learn the hard way.
Well, he wasn't in this lifestyle?
No. He,
Okay.
you know, he was more of an alcoholic back in the day. And then he moved up north, and then he got his life, you know, somewhat together and stopped drinking and started.
No, you're good.
Do you want this computer, bro?
No, you're good. No. Oh, I didn't hit the mute. There's the mute. Sorry. No, go ahead. Keep talking to us.
I don't even know where I was now.
All right.
What,
No,
what
you're
about
good.
that good memory I had, Sam?
I'm just letting you cool off, and I got to snatch that back from you.
So yeah, I don't know.
You're
I
telling.
mean,
Sorry. So
yeah, my parents. You know,
Yes.
my dad was an alcoholic. My mom was a drug addict. You know what I mean? The lifestyle I grew up in, you know, we moved around a lot throughout the north side. I grew up on the north side. I was on the other side of the River of Sam.
Yeah.
Well, you were northeast.
I'm northeast. She was north side.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's where you grew up, the north side, and it was a. What brought you to a point of finding recovery, or was it something just always?
Oh man, listen. Well, let's just put it this way. I didn't just find recovery. Like, I literally was in and out of the system since I was 13, 14. Like I said, being awarded the state, being a runaway truant, you know, in and out of group homes as a teenager. Been to St. Croix Girls Camp.
Did that too.
Yep.
All them.
Oh, I was like, you been to St. Girls?
St. Croix Camp, all that.
Okay.
Shit, yep.
You know, and it was just really like, I just played the system as much as I could. I honestly, no, I didn't play the system. There was a couple times where I tried to play the system, but honestly, like, at that point in my life, I just didn't care. Like, I didn't care. Like, I would run. I would just be like, when I got caught, I'd be like, whatever, just do my time. I got 14 felony points I've been to prison 3 times. I've been through like 20-something treatments, halfway houses. You know what I mean? I actually came to 2218 when I was in one of the halfway houses down the street.
They brought everyone over here?
Huh?
They brought everyone over here type deal?
No, what was it, like 2007?
So it's no different like New Way. You guys could come over to check out meetings or whatever.
Yeah.
You came over.
Yep.
So
It was like I had a little bit of like knowledge and experience with meetings, but like I didn't.
It was by default because of the life you were out
Yeah,
running.
they were
gunning.
like, go to meetings, your life will get better. And I was like, I went to a meeting, I'm like, nothing fucking changed.
But you didn't want it. Yeah, you didn't want none of it though. Like
I didn't know how it worked.
Right.
Like my mind couldn't grasp like. They were like, get a sponsor. And I was like, I asked some random lady to be my sponsor. And then I was just like, okay, now what? You know what I mean? Like, is she supposed to like change my life? Like, I didn't
Right.
know how it
Nope.
worked,
Mhm.
you know? And so I always went back to what I knew. I would get out of the halfway house. I would get out of jail and I would go right back to my mom's. You know, it was just this vicious
circle,
cycle.
yep.
Yep. And it was like, okay, I'm going to do this different. I'm going to do this different. I'm going to do this different. And it was the insanity piece. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. And I thought I was different, and I thought I could. Oh, I'm not gonna use drugs, but I'm gonna sell them this time.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna drink. I'm not gonna smoke meth.
that
like,
terminal uniqueness they talk about.
Yeah. So and like with all that, like it was just a revolving door for me. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, like okay, well, you know, like it was. I always share about this because like when I was racking up my charges and shit, I was gonna get running concurrent tattooed on my foot because I was like, well, if they're gonna hit me all at once. You know what I mean? I'll just take the higher charge, call it a day.
I like that running concurrent on your foot. Like,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's a double.
If anybody
It
knows
is
me-
awkward in this spot. Like I'm used to having something in front of me,
Yeah.
and your seat's hot as fuck.
I'm so much comfortable over
Swag.
here.
Bro,
You can just stay there, bro.
The seat is like got 80 degrees on
Yeah.
it. This house is weird.
Yeah,
I
no
feel-
shit. I'm telling you, yeah, I feel way more comfortable over here. But let's go.
All right, so listen. Yeah, all right, you're the new host.
Yeah.
So this is
Oh,
just
shit.
keeps going on. The
Yeah.
same. Nothing's getting
Yeah.
better.
No.
Is a good
And
way of saying it.
And I just didn't. I didn't have any hope. Like I didn't have any hope. I was like, all right, well, when they go lay me down, you know what I mean? Like, I was just talking about it to somebody earlier today. They were like talking about, oh, Ramsey County Jail,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they were talking about how horrible it is and the lockdown, the
Worst
23
county ever.
lockdown. And I was like, you know, my thought process back then was, fuck, I hope I don't get bumped off in the summer because that's going to suck to miss. I'd rather do my time in the winter. Like, that was my thought process.
I've had the same thought go through my mind
Like,
numerous times.
at least let me stay out for the summer so I can
Right,
enjoy
yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
No,
And
I get that. I do.
yeah. So just same shit. You know, just in and out of the system, and
You want to take it? I'll mute you.
some of the times where I feel like I actually tried though was one of the places that I stayed over right down here is when I was trying to fight to get my kids back.
So okay, I was just gonna say. So like looking back now, because your head is clear right now. I
Yep.
mean, minus whatever maybe mental health type stuff, but your head's clear enough to look back at them situations, and like think about the situation where you said like you did really give it a shot. Like, was it for you or was it to get something back, like kids?
It was for my kids.
All right, so you still, because I try to bring together so people can understand, like when something finally clicked, when this last time, whatever the last time was, what was it that you realized like this is how it's got to work?
You mean when I had like my spiritual awakening?
Sure, whatever it was, is that what it was?
I feel like it was, yeah. I feel like it was this last time that I got out of prison. And like that voice that Sam was talking about, when I went into that house and I was like, nah, I was like, I'm good. Like, I don't need no meetings. Like, I'm cool. Like, I got this. Yep, I got this, right? I don't need no meeting. I know what I'm going to do different. And I wasn't doing anything different. I was talking to the same people, doing the same things, doing the same behaviors. And it was that night that I hit him up because he was like reaching out and he was like, have you thought about going to a meeting yet? And I was just like, yeah. He was like,
Yeah,
reaching out.
I didn't stop calling.
But quick question now, and be honest with me, were you trying to help her or were you trying to
100%.
hook up with her?
100% was trying to help her.
Okay.
Honestly, 100% honest on that. Like,
Right. No, and I don't doubt if that's what you say, then that's what it is. Because we're going to get into where it turned from that to the annoying couple. I don't see that. I just going with what Christine
no,
said.
It's fine.
But
so,
okay, so he's hitting you up. How did?
Yeah.
Where does,
So mind you, I'm on DOC work release at Transformation House. One, I wasn't even supposed to be leaving to go do store runs. And the dude that I was talking to that was moving in with his ex, I was on like a little bit of a mission, per se. And I was just like, one, I wasn't supposed to be out driving. Two, was on DOC, like supervision, like not supposed to be outside of the halfway house. Three, like it was just like all this stuff, and I was like driving, and I was doing on my way to go do some shit that I had no business doing. You know what I mean? That I had already been doing, and I was like, it just like something was like, what the fuck are you gonna do different this time? Like you talked about it in prison over and over and over again. You went through the prison treatment program. You talked about how you didn't want to. That you were gonna do something different this time.
We're
and
good
like,
about doing that when we're locked up.
oh yeah, I mean, I did it every time I was locked up. I was like, I'm gonna get out and do it different, you know.
But this time, like something clicked in your head where you're like, God damn, I was saying all these things.
Yeah, and I stopped, and I was like, and a part of that was what I couldn't wrap my head around. Right, like remember how I said I would go to meetings and like I would hear, and I was like, mind you, like this was my first meeting that I went to when I got out of prison. Like, other than that, I hadn't been to no meetings in years.
Like real meetings.
Right.
Okay.
And I was like, because I knew Sam from before, and I was like,
You say before? Do you mean like out on the
Yeah,
street?
out in the street.
Before?
Yeah, we
Like, I
we
knew
ran
him
through
yeah.
a couple of same of the trap houses
Okay.
back
Yeah.
in the day.
Okay.
so what, like really, like I was like, he's really like not smoking meth and hitting licks, you know what I mean? And I was like trying to figure out like, how is he doing that? You know what I mean? Like I don't know anybody in my whole life
You
in
were
all
the
these
seed.
years.
You were the seed.
Yeah, and out of all the years and like in and out of meetings and you know whatever, like I never knew somebody who had actually did something like different with their life, and like I had seen it. Like I had seen it with like my cousin before. Like she had some clean time, but she had like went back out. You know what I mean?
Plus, this is someone that you know was doing dirt like you were doing dirt. Someone that you.
Well, my cousin was too, but
Okay.
but it was
Yeah,
a little bit
no.
different. It was like I was witnessing
Right.
it, right? I was in prison when she got her clean time, when she was clean. You know what I mean? So it was like I didn't see her, so like seeing him was like what are you doing? Like how are you not? Like I just couldn't like how are you not smoking meth right now? Like
Right. No, I
and you're
get it.
not under like DOC and you're not, you know what I mean? You're not
Well,
locked
yeah,
up.
you're not smoking by choice. How?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. And
I get it. I can remember. It wasn't that 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's not that long ago, where I can remember. Oh, if I stop, what am I gonna do? Like that was the thought I had in my head. Is like, what do you do if you're not doing this?
yeah, I had no.
That's all you know for so long.
I had no like recollection of like how to like not live a life of
What you
smoking,
had been
selling,
living. Yeah.
you know,
The
and
normal.
right.
We were
That
both,
was my normal.
We were both born into addicts and alcoholics. Our mom and dad's both, our whole family's both, like everything we knew was drugs in one way or another. Like,
So yeah, that was the normal.
yeah.
That's the normal.
Yeah.
How do you
If you
break
didn't
that?
do that shit, you were,
You were the outside. Yeah.
yeah. There was something wrong with you. You work for them people.
Snitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You're snitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and like that night, like I was on my way to go, you know what I mean? And I was like, just something was like, okay, well, like obviously something's working for him. You know, like he's actually doing something. And I did. I hit him up and I was like, somebody got your bike out
No,
there?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come check out this meeting, you know, like kind of had an attitude about it and was like, got to do something different. You know, like I did not go into it with a good whatever, you know, but like,
An open mind.
yes. And I did. I went to that first meeting, and what really, other than Sam, it was really, there was a lady there that I ran into, and I was like, hey, I was like, I know you. I was like, you brought a meeting into the Shakopee prison. And like, I was able to hug her because I remember when she shared, I was like, I really like her. You know what I mean? Like,
With some connection, some
Yeah.
type of connection.
yeah. So it was like, okay, so these people really do live a different life and like actually come back out to these meetings. They don't just come into the prison and be like,
Right.
change your life and then leave. You know what I mean? And you know,
And anyone listen, like we know this. Like usually, you get in the rooms. You're an addict or an alcoholic. You get part of a meeting, and then you find a commitment and start taking meetings into jails. that was the first spot I ever experienced a meeting, was without freedom. And I didn't have any of my life in recovery, so I didn't know what any of it was, let alone these people coming in. I thought they were paid. Like, I didn't know. I mean, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
yeah.
thought that they were paid to come in to fill some hours at county.
Ever since I got off of probation, I signed up to bring a meeting into Anoka County Jail, and like every time I go, a lot of people think that I get paid, and I make sure I let them know, like, I'm doing this out of selfless service.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I do this because someone did this for me, and the only way we keep what we have is by giving it away.
Yep.
So now that's the new circle. You know how you're talking about that vicious circle?
Yep.
Like, things get put into different perspectives. Like, you're talking about the new plug. I wrote that down too, because Paul at Will Work was telling me, like, how do I bring this up? We were talking about, you know, there's like motorcycle clubs out there, 1% clubs and stuff. And like, you know, we ride. And he's like, no, I'm part of a new club. Like this recovery is my new, I wear this new patch on my back. Like, this is my new life. Like, I'm part of this. Like, we're some stupid, crazy motherfuckers too, and idiots. But we're in this is my new patch. I wear this is my new life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't,
Makes
it's
sense.
something like that click. Like, but how do you make that distinction or how, that realization? It's by some of that 12-step work stuff. Someone giving it to me. Like Sam said, like, we give this away because someone gave it to us.
Yep.
Yep.
And they weren't paid.
They're not
Right.
That's
paid.
that big thing.
Just like when he said, when we got here, like, you know what I mean? We show up when we're asked to show up,
Even when you don't want to.
or got a migraine. You know what I mean?
Or you
Like,
got a migraine.
Yeah.
No, I get it. That was the first thing I was taught was, if you don't have a valid reason to say no, Tim, you have to say yes.
right.
And I'm like, fuck. Because it's hard to come up with a valid reason. Because it'd
And
be
if
a
you're
lie
working
if
an
it's not.
honesty
Yeah,
program, then
exactly. Yes. So you,
Jamie, bakery, back to
Yeah.
the bakery.
I
What
Gave
happened?
that
I
girl that
sidetracked
hug,
shit. Yeah.
and then
come
for
on.
18 months after that, she hung on. White knuckled.
I when he said hung on, like, literally, like, I hung on by a thread.
Yeah.
Were you not working? I mean, why was it? Why? Why did it? 18
Everything
months.
everything in me felt like I was going against my grain. Everything in me was like, I don't want to be here. I showed up late. I left early. I sat in the back. I didn't share. But then there was this other part of me that was like, you ever try to put two magnets together?
Mm-hmm.
That's
And they're
how
the
I-
backwards.
Yes. And that's
Yeah.
how I felt. It was like I was trying to get in, but like the other part of me was like, no, you don't. And I feel like that was like my inner demons. You know what I mean?
So
And
was it that little voice that Sam brought up that you validated? Like, what was it that kept you going for 18 months when you felt like you
I
didn't
kept
belong?
hearing the shit. I
Yes,
would show
it's-
up and they were like, keep coming back. And
Works if
you
you
know,
work
like
it.
works if you work it. Share about everything, use over nothing.
All
I
these
mean, I
little
didn't really get to the whole
cliches.
sharing thing for, you know, quite a while. But you know, like, get a sponsor and work the steps. And I was like, okay, like, I'm going to try this again. And they were like, you know, the first thing I heard was like, get a sponsor that you can relate with.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard a woman share about how she was in prison and, you know, got out and she's clean still. And I was like, all right. So I did. And then I was like, okay, like, I don't know if this is how this is supposed to go. Like, I did my first few steps. Excuse me. And then I heard in another meeting, look for a sponsor that has something that you want. Not materialistic, not the house, the car, or whatever. It's something that they have internally, morally, like,
Danielle just said Jamie will show up in her bathtub, bathrobe and slippers
Sure that-
as a sponsor. She's the best sponsor ever.
oh, I love you, Danielle. And yes, I do.
The newcomer mating call.
Oh, you're gonna every time.
So, you know, and it was literally like I seen this woman, and it was my second MNAC. My first MNAC I went to was only a day pass because I was still on DOC and I was making moves that I still wasn't supposed to be, but I was doing it for the greater good of my recovery. I did not have a legitimate pass, I don't think. But my second MNAC, like, I was out.
What's MNAC?
Minnesota Narcotics Anonymous Convention.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry. And then
I'm not trying to put it on blast. It's
No.
just
Yeah, some
people
people
don't
don't
know.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a convention of like a type of fellowship recovery. Like
Yep.
it's one of the big events of the year. Lots of people.
Lots of people.
Okay.
Turned
So
up-
something though I'm hearing though a lot is, and it's work for you is like, and this is they talk a lot about this in all the fellowships, like the similarities, not the differences.
Yeah.
Something that kept you coming back, like Sam, like you were able to be like, you knew where he came from, you knew what he was doing, and how are you living it, like not doing what we were doing, and then this lady, like you could relate, you found some similarities.
Right.
Okay.
And then I went to MNAC, and after a while, like, you know, like I said, like I would show up to meetings even when I didn't want to. And I felt like I kept hearing, look for a sponsor that has somebody that you want. And I didn't know how to have healthy relationships with other women.
Oh, with other women.
Yeah, I didn't have female friends.
Oh,
like,
women aren't nice.
No, for like the first 18 months, all she had was prison friends. She was conversating with guys in prison. I mean, there was a lot of patience. Like, she didn't want to go to meetings. All she did was talk to guys in prison. And I was like, all I kept on doing was like, I'm going to meetings. I know it works. I'm going to meetings. I know it works. I know.
So you guys were still close as friends during this first 18 months, or were you guys together by then?
We started dating after like
Like
I
we
don't
both
know,
just skipped
yeah.
over how you guys met and got together.
Okay, well, I was still getting into this whole
Okay,
this,
all right,
this
yep,
whole
yep,
sponsor
yep.
thing.
Yeah,
Come on.
you did skip over it. You're right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
So
hold
did
on
you.
1 second. Well, we're gonna get back to it. Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the thing is like I you know, because you were like, what made you stay? Like, what
Yeah.
made you? I mean, it wasn't cervix work. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
no. I said, baby, you got to do service work, and she said, cervix work. Oh, stop it! No. It's service work. You have to get into the program. You have to pick up a chair position. You have to do this. What? What the fuck is that? Like, no. She fought tooth and nail. Like she said, magnets. Said backwards,
The two
magnets.
yeah,
Yep.
and I like, you know, like, and I did. I just started doing what I was hearing, right? Like, and at that point,
Suggestions.
it was, you know, get a sponsor, work the steps. So I was like, okay, then I found the sponsor that I seen had something that I wanted that I didn't know how to have, which was really close relationships with other women, and you know, and slowly but surely. Slowly but surely, like something like, you know, like I just started doing it, and like it was super weird. It was like, okay, well, call me and text me, you know, check in with me, and I was like, this is weird, you know, like
What, people caring?
Yeah. Super weird.
And especially girls?
And not expecting nothing back.
Right, that's a big one.
Yeah,
Huge.
it was super foreign. It
Right,
was so
right.
foreign. But yeah, so when I was running around and coming to meetings when I was supposed to be, and you know, I got my foot in the door with coming to meetings. I was, you know, I had 8 months of DOC work release.
Mm-hmm.
I got to Transformation House, and
What's
was
that,
it,
like a halfway
October?
house?
Yeah.
Step down house?
Yep. So
Okay.
Transformation House, I was one of the last DOC people that they let go there for their work release.
Okay.
Because it was super smooth. The time before that, I went to RS Indian, and whew, that was no joke.
No, I've heard it's changed a lot, but like I've heard Paul talk about RSE, and like he's like, yeah, they got way soft now because they used to do some things they'd make you do stuff there.
Yeah.
But now like they won't violate you, but like I
Like
don't,
when I was at RS
crazy
Indian
stuff
work
I
release,
heard.
it was like you called from the landline when you got to work.
Mm-hmm.
You called from the landline when you left for work. You had to show proof of your pay stubs and how many hours you were clocked into work. You were in basically a locked facility. Like you weren't allowed to go out. Like you weren't allowed to do.
Yeah.
You were in prison, but you were going to work.
Mm-hmm.
Transformation House was like that halfway house.
Right.
And it was just. I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have made it if I would have been in another workhouse. Or
So you give
not
that
workhouse,
place
but-
a lot of credit.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I had some wiggle room because I still had that I want to do what I want when I want to do it.
Samson,
I mean, you know, and so what had happened was, remember, I'm going to circle back to when I was talking about that vicious cycle, right?
Yes.
Of like doing the same thing. When I would get out, I'd go back to my mom's, go back to the north side, and expect a different result. Well, this time, Sam was like, well, if you need somewhere to parole to, you can crash
Here's
on-
the key.
Yeah, pretty much. Showed up, was like, here's a key. If you need a place to parole to, I don't think you should go back to your mom's.
When she says parole to, it just means like where the new address is going to be at.
Yes, where I legally have to live and where they would be checking
If
in
they
on me.
come out of the blue like they do to check on you.
Yep.
That
Yep.
Sam said you can stay at my spot.
Here's
Yep.
the key.
Here's the key.
He showed up with a key.
Okay.
You got to go to meetings.
Oh, you put some parameters on
No.
here's the key.
Well, here's the key. I'm going
So
to a
it
meeting.
started
Here's
out,
the key. I'm going
yeah,
to a meeting.
yeah.
Here's the key.
Yeah,
I'm
so
going
it
to a meeting.
started
Yeah.
out as a if you need somewhere to parole to, and
Yeah.
then I mean things just kind of developed from there.
Yeah.
You know, it was just
Developed.
like well,
Jamie made the first move.
listen,
Listen, Linda. I felt like I felt like even though I had
Did you feel
less
kinda
days
wrong?
clean, yes, I did.
Right. Okay.
It was
Because
right after
she
his
didn't have no.
relapse.
She didn't have recovery.
No.
And you
So
felt
I
like you're
felt
taking
wrong.
advantage
Yep,
in a
yep.
way.
but I had more clean time.
But now she passed me up in steps. So what? So you never know what God's gonna
But
do.
I think I heard one of you say this once. It's like clean time doesn't equal recovery.
Exactly.
Sure
No,
doesn't.
it doesn't.
It
right.
absolutely does not.
Nope.
That was me just throwing it in your face. You're like, but I had more clean time.
Yeah.
No, but
she-
I
But
know,
then
but
you
I
validated by
mean-
saying like
I
she
felt-
passed me up in steps. So you
I
like
felt out
you
of
hit the
pocket.
ground.
Yeah, I
Right.
felt out of pocket for like. She just got out of prison and like I didn't want to jump in. I was like, just come to these
BJ
meetings,
was
come
like,
to these
"Give
meetings, come to
these
these
girls
meetings.
numbers." And
Yeah,
I'm
I was
like,
pushing her towards
Yeah,
all the
right.
girls. Like, get connected
You
because
like you can
yeah,
honestly say like you had her best interest at hand.
100%,
You're not just thinking about them draws.
No.
100%,
Right.
100%.
No, he
And a
wasn't.
lot of people we've seen it like they can't say that statement. Like they might have a shit ton of clean time. 10 I've seen it a lot. We all have.
I see it a lot nowadays, and I see it more than ever. Like, dude, my sister just got clean with 90 days.
Yeah, I bet she goes
and I
through- yes.
see these people in these rooms with 20, 30 years, and they're just creeping. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? And then I just got to put some
Principles before personalities.
before personalities. I just got to like, I'll kind of walk up. You know, that's my sister, right?
Yeah,
But
the one
yeah,
time,
no,
though-
it's a-
yeah. I went to the
it's
one
a
time I went to that
problem.
meeting. She was just getting her 60. You gave it to her.
Yeah, it's kind of a
Yeah.
problem. Like,
It's a big
a
problem.
problem.
Not
It-
kind of, because that could really wreck someone's
it could
life. Not
chase some
recovery.
people-
Their
it
life.
could chase some people out of here,
And
man.
it has.
It's bad.
It does. It happens
Yeah.
all the time.
Sad.
That's why you find a core. You got to take them suggestions, and from your same sex type. I mean,
Yeah, and that's where, and in all honesty, like when he was like, and I was like, that's weird, like, you know what I mean? Like when he was like telling me, that's when I was like still coming to meetings here and there, and I was like, okay, like that's when I was hearing, like, find a sponsor that has something you want. And that's when I see my sponsor, and I was like, she's got a solid group of women.
Yeah,
She's got a solid group of women,
Right.
and that's, and like I had a click.
that's when stuff started to change.
Yeah, and something clicked. And then I remember, like, before that, though, right? Like, I didn't have a foundation. Like, I lived, like, and I'll share about this. Like, I
Yeah.
lived my recovery through Sam's recovery
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, oh, well, that's good enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
My man's in recovery, so I got recovery. And it wasn't, I remember when we kind of got into one of our very first fights, and it was like, you know what I mean? And my first instant thought was, I'm just going to go to my mom's then. Fuck this.
oh,
You know what I mean? And then I had to stop myself, and I was like, okay, well, they talk about calling women, and like I did. I called like one of the girls' numbers that I had, and I was just like,
That's the one.
you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I was just like, and it wasn't like, I don't know, it was just weird, right? And I was like, okay, well, I called somebody, I did what they suggest, right? I didn't go to my mom's. Like I had a lot of feelings, and I didn't know what to do with them, and I was so fresh.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Even with those years, right? Like I said, I had some years, but I didn't have the recovery, and I still didn't know how to manage my emotions. I mean, I don't know if I still do, but
You do more now than you did then.
Absolutely,
At least.
absolutely. You know, I'm able to like communicate now, and you know, not just be like, "Rah," and like you know, run off to my mom's and go
Like
get
you
high.
both said this a few times. Like we do share over everything and use over nothing. But how do you do that when you're struggling by yourself, or the one other person you get in an argument with? What do you do?
That's why you have to have a foundation.
And you
That's
both have shared
exactly-
about it. You've talked about picking the phone up, and you just did too. Like what happened on that call? That you guys made it like something funny happen on that, or
What?
I don't know. You said you called the one person.
The one person, and I was just like, I mean, I did what was
It was
suggested. I practiced, right?
Right.
Like I took the suggestion because I had never done it before, and I called her, and like, and by the end of the call, no matter how weird it was, at the end of that call, I didn't find myself back over, you know, at my mom's
At your
house
mom's.
picking up a pipe or
Right.
a bag or you know stealing a car or
Going
whatever it was that I
backwards.
was into, you know. So it was like, it was foreign.
How long have you been clean now?
9.5 years.
9.5. And how long you been clean?
7 years.
I mean, what 10 years with
10 years.
one night of drinking?
Yeah, 10 years I ain't put no dope. And yeah, last 10 years I drank one time. Yeah.
One time in 10 years, and no dope in 10.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
All right.
So like I feel like we've been going on and on and on about like the gifts of recovery, right? Like the things that have happened, the blessings that have happened, like the things that we have done in the last 7 years are just out of they're just like
That's what we're getting into.
she'll sit here and she'll call me a penny pincher, but like right, she'll spend money here, everywhere, all the time, and then like I'll hold money and then like save money and then we'll jump on planes and go places.
What is the bottom right? What time is the bottom right of the screen?
It says
That bottom right. The other bottom right.
9:10.
Bottom right of the screen.
9:10.
All right, so
Well,
it's
my
9:10.
phone says 9:10.
No,
Yeah.
you're right. No, you're right. I saw your eyes on the left. I'm like, no, bottom right.
Well, it's,
So
yeah.
no, we hit the top of the hour and we've been past it. Usually, like, see, we just did some experience, strength, and hope. That was
Yeah.
easy peasy.
So
All right. Oh no, go ahead. You got more. I won't
Yep,
go.
yeah.
Come on.
Well,
come on.
I mean, he did. I
'Cause
talked
I got
about
some
what it
things-
was like when I got
That's
here.
where we're about
Yeah.
to jump into. Is I want to hear about these gifts and these trips, like what has happened in lieu of your recovery and some of these good things that have happened. Like I know about a you just skimmed over. Like we started a foundation. Like what was it? What did you guys start?
I started a bully breed specific dog rescue,
Okay. What's the name of it?
pit squad.
Pit Squad Rescue.
Yo, what the fuck? You guys haven't brought it up yet.
It's experience, strength, and hope. It's our message and like
We're
the
getting
gifts.
to like
We
what
haven't
it
got to
was.
any of the gifts of
That's
what
what we're
recovery
doing
have
now.
brought us. So
How do we want to start talking about the gifts?
right, so like Pit Squad Rescue, like we get to do all these things in life that I believe that God had blessed us. So like the more selfless we are with being a service to the program and to people and just showing up for people, like not expecting anything else, the more blessings have dropped in our laps. I honestly 100% believe that. Right?
Like we're talking about the gifts, but usually there's these questions I ask, and I want to stop right now and ask both of you this because you've alluded to it a few times. Like, do you have a higher power, and how does that work for you in your recovery today?
Yep, I do have a higher power. I struggled in the beginning with any kind of like spirituality, higher power, Sky Daddy, if you will.
Sky Daddy.
Oh God. Oh, Sky Daddy.
Yeah.
That's good shit. I've
Yeah, so
never
Sky
heard
Daddy.
that.
Sky Daddy.
Shout out to my girl Tara. You know,
Daddy.
that's our little lingo right there. But yeah, no, I've recently found myself like going to church. I have found myself going to church more and finding something there because I feel like I was lacking something for a while, right? And now I just, you know what I mean? Now I have a belief.
That cup's being filled.
Yes.
Sam, do you have a higher power, and if so, how does that look like for you?
100%, man. I bring it to the altar. I get on my knees. I'm not playing. I pray to him. He saved my life.
So how does that
Yeah.
look in your recovery today? I know
How's it
you
look?
you started talking about it, like the more selfish.
So
Go ahead.
God's will. Like I feel like I show up and I do His work every day. Yes, I've been guided by the dark side for 28 years, and now I'm looking at 10 years of guided by the light. Right. So I continue to change each and every day as long as I show up. If I'm not showing up, I'm just stagnant. I'm complacent. I'm not changing. I'm not doing shit.
Not growing.
But if I show up,
Mm-hmm.
I go to meetings, I talk to like-minded people, and I do what I need to do to be selfless and follow His will, like blessings just come, man. And like I prayed, like one of the things I prayed for was to travel, and we travel a lot, man. And then one of the things, like, it's crazy. Like the prayers have been answered above and beyond. Like there's prayers that are answered that I didn't even pray for, that I never even thought were possible, right?
Like his sister getting clean.
Like my sister just got clean, right? The one that brought me to my first meeting. I would never have thought in a million years that my sister would have hit me up and said, "Hey, I need your help.
I surrender.
I surrender."
That's a gift of the program, ain't it?
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
a higher power. Like that gives me goosebumps when I think about it, right? Like
yeah.
that kind of stuff right there. Like my kid, when I got back into my kid's life, I just wanted to see him play football because he didn't even know who I was. But God's plan was like he got to come live with me, and he got clean with me, and he shared meetings with me, right? Like he didn't. When I first seen him for the first time, when I got out and I was working on trying to get back into his life, he looked at me and said, "I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't remember you." Play that fast forward a little bit. Jamie helped me raise him, helped me keep him in the house and help him get clean. Like I was a strict dad, and she like loved on him and hugged on him as he was her own kid, right? And I continue to do that for her kids as much as I can today. Like the things that are happening in life are just crazy. We're gonna keep pushing forward.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like it's the things like it's like when like I was praying in my jail cell when I first started building faith. One of my first prayers was, you know how we always pray in the jail cell, please God, let me out tomorrow?
Let me go at this time.
The
I won't do it again.
the day before court.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back to Bible study and was like, damn, they didn't let me out this time. Right? And they was like, maybe you need to start praying for something else.
Yeah.
And in jail, I prayed to pray more. And that built my faith because every night I began to pray. Right? And that just builds faith. Little things build faith. My sister getting clean built faith. When I prayed to be a part of my kid's life, just to be able to let him know he has a dad that loves him and he came to live with me, that builds faith, right? God always went above and beyond what I was praying for. Please, God, don't let me go to prison and have my mom and dad die while I'm in prison, right? I got 10 years of probation. I got to get out. Even though it was tough, I got to take care of them to their very last day, right? And Jamie helped me through all this. I should say we. Like Jamie was like there and helped me with, like, I don't think I could have done it without her. And a lot of my story is like but it's like really honestly, these last 7 years have been we. Jamie helped me take care of my mom. I helped her take care of her dad. She was there. She helped me take care of my kid. Like God has put all this stuff in order. And it worked out. Like I'm super spiritual. Like when I flew to Florida and picked up my sister, Sarah, which just celebrated 90 days, which is kind of like her pink cloud's going away and she's struggling. I love you. Hang on. I'm sure she'll maybe listen. I don't know. She'll listen to this. If you'd have read that, I put two little hyperlinks on the bottom you could have shared. Yeah, well, I will sometimes. Next time. We'll
you know what? Look, listen, I gave him two hyperlinks. Have him send it to you so you can share them.
Okay.
Share this shit.
Share that shit.
Share
about it.
So yes, I'm very connected with my higher power. Every day I look for spiritual awakenings and spiritual stuff that happen. Like I see it all day, every day.
We have a guy. We have two guys that come on reoccurring once a month. They run a 4-step workshop here, and he started sharing about some stuff. Like he's like, I can't live in harmony unless I show love and grace, and I do that through finding it with my higher power. Like, how am I going to live in harmony if I'm not giving out love? Right. If I'm not giving out grace? And he's also on some, like, you don't have a clue what you think you can get through your higher power. Like, you think you want this, and all of a sudden you get this, and it's tenfold what you ever could have imagined.
Absolutely.
And, like, we all see it. The longer you're in these rooms and the longer you're of service, selfless service, it just keeps pouring in. Like,
yeah. I do want to touch on that because you said, well, what about this organization? Like that's a seed was planted when I was in prison, and I would sit there and I would watch Pit Bulls and Parolees.
My mom loves that show.
And
my mom gave you guys a bunch of toys or something once, I think. Or was it you guys?
To Samantha? You gave it to Samantha, I think.
I thought it was for Pit Squad.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But yes, okay, go ahead.
So like that planted a seed, and I was like, you know what I mean? Like, that's my chick. Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, I looked up to her, you know what I mean? And I was like, she's doing the damn thing. And something in me was, like, unexplainable. Like, I just felt drawn to that, right? And I knew
that rescuing?
Yeah, like, just something with what she was doing with the dogs and the parolees and the second chances and all that. And, like, I felt like I could relate to that. And I felt like I related. I love all dogs. Let me just say that. But I feel like I relate to the pit bull. Because of the fact that they are stereotyped misunderstood, and they aren't given. Most of them aren't ever given a second chance.
My brother's got a pit bull. It's the best dog. One of the best
Right.
dogs. There's some of the best dogs you'll ever be around, ever.
Yeah. So
And you mistreat anyone. Like, listen, I'm not calling you guys pit bulls, either of you. So don't hear me that way. But you both shared about your.
But
the
we
way-
are.
But listen, how you were raised, like that was your environment. So what did you
Stereotyped.
expect? You treat a dog in a specific way. What do you expect they're gonna do? And unfortunately, pit bull owners, some pit bull owners treat them like shit.
Yep.
And then what happens? The dogs act like shit, and they get this persona. And
Yep,
then the whole
stereotyped.
public wants to categorize them, like categorize,
Just like us.
like us.
Just
right.
like us.
And that's
Okay.
where I feel like the relation came in. Anyways, when I got out, like I knew I've been through 15 different jobs when I got out.
Mhm.
And I knew there was something that I wanted to do with work with animals. Rescue does not pay. It's a 501c3 nonprofit. So then I got into grooming. But like I was originally, I started out as a vet tech. And my practice manager was like, when somebody would come in with an emergency dog, the dog was like dying, the owner was crying, and I'd start crying with the owner, and she's like, listen, she's like, we need you to step out, please. Like, you are an employee here. Like,
You're over there losing
and
your
I'm
shit.
like, yeah, and I'm like, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. And then that's when I got into grooming. And in my mind, I told myself, like, I'm not, like, artistic. Like, you know what I mean? Most groomers are artistic. Like, I don't know how to cut no hair. But I gave it, like, everything that I thought that I wasn't going to, like, be able to, like, do or anything that I doubted myself on, like, I look back and I'm like, first of all, I can't even believe I'm still clean.
Right.
Right? Like coming from, like I was that girl in prison that everybody was like, oh, yep, she's going to be back again.
Yep.
She's going to be back again. You know what I mean? And it was like, and like there was many times where people would be like, I don't even know why you waste your time on her. You know what I mean? The 17th treatment, like, why are you
Right.
even still trying? Like, she's hopeless, you know? And I've heard those words.
Mm-hmm.
So like to look back and be like, I was that hopeless addict that didn't have no end game, that didn't have no hopes, no dreams, and just thought that I was supposed to, you know what I mean, ride the dope game till the wheels fell off.
Dope fiend.
Yep. And like, and now that I'm like looking back, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like when I was working at that vet tech clinic, there was a black pit bull there. He was set to be euthanized. Minnesota's, you know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not going to get into all that. But anyways, he was set because he was returned so many times, and the county funding was running out for him to stay there. And I was like, I had reached out to 100 rescues. Probably not 100, but you know what I mean?
Yes,
I
you're
reached
pounding
out.
the pavement.
Yes, and I didn't get anything back. And I was like, well, I'm just going to start my own rescue. You know, and like looking back at that, like that started with just one Facebook post, and the clinic that I was working at was like, okay, here you go. Here's your first rescue dog. You know? And
That's how it started.
yeah. And for the first year, like we didn't take in any dogs, maybe one stray, because I had no idea what I was doing.
Right.
And then 2021, when COVID was still like everybody was whatever, you know what I mean? It was like it's like
It happened.
It
She was
happened.
When
like-
did it go? When did you
happened,
guys
and-
get all your 501c stuff?
So I hired an attorney with my personal money, and it was filed incorrectly. And then I had to rehire an attorney who knew what they were doing, because I didn't know anything about how to do it. And it was like this process. And it's still a process, right? Like I've had to have refiles, and now I have to have like these QuickBooks people, and I got to have somebody do the taxes.
So it's still a learning process.
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely. Like we're in the middle of switching. Our website is not. Our website is under construction. Our applications still work. However, we are switching over to a system where it's all in one, where you can click on the website, you can see all of our dogs instead of having to click other links
Other
to go to
links.
Pet Finder.
Right.
You know, but I mean, if you are looking for a dog or want to foster, you know, Pet Finder.
How can we make that happen?
Pit,
Is there
Pit Squad
something I can
Rescue.
put a link up on my?
Yep.
Is there?
Absolutely.
All right. So like,
PitSquadRescue.org.
PitSquadRescue.org.
Yep.
Type that
We
in.
have a.
You can sign up to foster. Fostering's free. We pay for the kennel and the food and everything you need.
I need you to repeat all that again. Like, talk about what the benefits are with you guys. Hey, use this show. Come on, we got.
So we, you know what I
Times
mean?
that
Like
about
we
about
do.
15.
We
This
cover like
number
the
right
medical
now,
stuff.
times it by 15.
I feel like a lot of people know that. You know, we we pull a lot of dogs from high kill shelters. Like in middle of the night, one of our fosters drove to Des Moines, Iowa, because our transport couldn't make it all the way to Minneapolis from Corpus Christi, Texas. Met her at 3:30 a.m. in Des Moines, Iowa, and drove back up, made it back to my house by 8 a.m. And she's dropping off a pregnant mom that they were going to abort full term, and then a mama dog with 8 beautiful baby puppies.
I think I remember seeing the. When was this?
Just this morning.
Oh no, okay.
But I
If
did
that-
post
if
it. I
keyboard's not
posted
working,
it like
you
5
use that
days
one.
ago. I did. I posted it like 5 days ago. We were looking for fosters. I mean, it's endless. You know what I mean? Like I get hundreds of emails every day. I have 5 different email accounts on top of starting my grooming business. You know, I'm starting to do my own thing. You know, it's my passion, and I have a tendency to not balance at times, or on a regular. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I regularly.
Sun up to sundown, Jamie is on her phone, on her computer, networking with people all over the United States trying to save these dogs. So
Never in a million years.
I live with it and I see it, and it wears on her, but she loves it. It's something that she is doing from sunup to sundown nonstop. The only time we ever, and even if we went on a Christmas cruise and like she was still doing
Spending
it. I'm like,
time doing
stop.
that.
I did really good.
No, she was still doing it on a cruise ship.
Like take a break.
Yes,
I-
take a break. But she's passionate about it, and like the only one that can get her to take a break is her. So it is what it is.
I feel like Christmas.
We're
cruise
going to a convention next weekend to New Orleans. Pray for us to get in to talk to
For
people,
what? What kind of convention?
NA convention. And
Oh, I thought they were talking about the
No.
pit stuff
But
still.
No.
pit
There's a-
squad or
but
pit.
that's where Pit Bulls and Parolees is located, and we're
One
gonna
of
go
them.
knock. We're gonna go knock on the door, and we're gonna just say, "Hey, we would love to partner with you guys, or we would love to get some guidance from you guys because you guys probably
Right.
started what we're doing.
She-
Like
well,
Yeah.
you just said that.
it was the
Like,
seed. Remember, like you
Right.
The
said,
seed
Yes.
was
the
planted.
seed was
And
planted
now,
through that show.
this many years later, like I said, like the gifts, right? Like the higher power thing. Like never would have ever
In
imagined
a million years.
this is what I'd be doing. And it started with one dog. And now
So
we
the one dog. All right, real quick. I want to rewind a little bit. This one dog. Or wait, no, fuck that. We're gonna get to that one dog. No, I didn't mean that. But so you're in prison. Were you watching Pit Bulls and Parolees?
Yep, absolutely.
Like that was the jam that was on whenever.
That was my jam. I could not watch enough of it.
Is that show still on? Do they still show? Is it on? What was it? TLC or what was it on?
I believe it was on. I want to say it was on Animal Planet
Animal Planet.
or Discovery. No,
So I could ask my
no,
mom.
Animal
Like
Planet.
I said, she watched. Loves that show. Knows all the little
I know that
ladies
they
and-
switched recently.
That was New Orleans because I remember when floods would happen. It was
Yep,
a big.
hurricanes.
Yeah, we're about to go down there. It's gonna be 95 and feel like 110.
Yeah, and have you been to New Orleans?
No.
Nope.
Woo. There's
That's
areas
what
that
everybody's
just
saying.
are
They're
funky.
like, we're not going to that
There's just-
convention.
but you know what? It's what it is. But
Yeah.
there's beautiful stuff. Like check out the cemetery. Whatever. We ain't here to talk about that. But your
I
plan.
thought we were here to talk about everything, anything.
We talk about everything and.
we share about everything, use over nothing.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
So the plan is, what's gone into this movie you're gonna try to make when you go down there? Like, did you guys like Google her address or like you going to the? How do you know what to do when you get down there?
Well, he found a phone number.
Yeah, I'm
You've been hit.
yeah. So we're gonna.
Like I'm not like we don't have to do no spoilers. Like I want to wreck any chances for you, but like, what's the plan to do? Like you're
Well,
gonna
we're
do the
kinda
convention
willy-nilly.
stuff, but
like we're
Yeah.
just kind of willy nilly.
shoot from
we're
the
like,
hip. Go tell her your story if you can get
Yeah.
in front of her. I guess.
Look, man. Yes, if we can get. I believe in a higher power does crazy things, so I believe that when we go down there, something might happen, something might not. But if we're gonna leave
We're
a
gonna
message,
try.
we're gonna leave a
You're gonna
message,
plant some seeds
and be like, hey, we're gonna come down here from this day to this day, and this is kind of where we're coming from. We're 3 years old, and like this is what happened and it all happened through recovery and through your show. So like we would love to just meet up with you guys and
Right.
just chop it up.
So you're gonna be straight up.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
gonna tell
there's
them.
not no like script or not. It's you know.
But
what I mean?
I mean, and we know this. Like when we go to share somewhere, or something like when it's from the heart, not scripted. It seems to always come out better. Like
Yeah. Yep.
and to share just like what you kind of shared on the show. Like you're in the clink watching this show, and this gave you your career.
Yeah. Well,
This gave you
Our
your
passion.
future, your
it's gave her
passion.
her passion.
It's my
yep.
passion.
I mean, it might wreck
We've-
Christmas vacations and stuff, but
Yeah.
no, I'm fucking with you. So what happened with this dog? This one dog, they were going to euthanize it, or what was going? The state was like, we can't fund.
Yeah, because it
taking-
had been in boarding for so long, and
Was
they're
it
like,
a dangerous
and it
dog, or what
no,
was the-
It was just a black pit bull, the
A
number
black
one
pit
dog.
bull,
That's the
yeah.
number one highest euthanized dog in the U.S.
Black pit bulls
It's
don't
black
make
pit
it out
bulls.
of the pound.
Oh, it's specifically the color black.
Black
Yep.
pit bulls
Pit bulls.
don't make it out of the pound.
The color
Really?
and the breed. Yes.
That just adds to the fear and the persona that people have about pit bulls.
Yeah, for some reason they are the highest.
Just like red
euthanized.
cars get pulled over more,
Right.
black pit bulls don't get out of the
Well,
pound.
I learned
It's
how to
hard.
walk from my mom. I don't remember, but I guess we used to have a couple pit bulls. That's how I learned how to walk on, holding onto their tail.
Yeah.
I guess I don't
Yeah.
remember, but she'll tell you about it. So you took this dog home. What did you just have that dog until?
I made a post. I said, "Who wants to be our first foster for Pit Squad Rescue?" I'm starting it today.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
Yeah, and I just, I mean, and it's
Next thing you know, she was like, "I need you to fly here, rent a car, and grab these 12 dogs from New Mexico and Colorado." I'm like, "Okay," and I
So
do
it
it.
we
went-
were doing it really like we were really not
made
doing it the right
happen.
way.
We
were
made
not,
it happen.
But
We
that's
made
how
it
most of
happen.
this stuff works, though. It's like trials, tribulations. Usually you grow through some pain
Yep.
or some mistakes, some failures. Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we get to a point of not looking at it as a failure. Like
It was
that's,
learning experience.
yeah.
It was just all in an experience, you know. And now we got transports that come up every month.
Transports, what do you mean?
For
Like,
every 2 weeks,
A
transport.
van full of
yeah.
dogs. I mean, you know what I mean? Like right now we're kind of slowing down our adoption.
but Texas was a big spot for you guys to get pups
Texas,
from, or what was?
Yeah, Texas is is like a third world country for dogs down there.
Anywhere down south, like they have dogs running stray everywhere. They kill them as soon as they get to the like. It's not like up here. They give them
And
a
no
chance.
humanity.
San Antonio, I seen I just posted it on my thing this morning. San Antonio just killed a litter of puppies just because they didn't have the room.
Yep.
Puppies?
Baby puppies. And people are like,
don't hear that in
yeah,
Minnesota."
Right. No, Minnesota doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, yes, we do.
Well,
Minnesota,
and you know what? We're a Democratic state, and they're a Republican state. There's a difference with that, and we don't want to
We
talk
don't-
politics.
I don't know
have
what it
straight-
is.
No.
I'm not saying
But
what it
you know
is,
what?
but
You're
I
right.
just
You're
know
not going to
that-
hear about a litter of puppies
we don't
being
see dogs
murdered up
running down
here.
the street just
Right. I was
just-
gonna say in Detroit that was a big problem a few years ago. I remember
Gotta-
packs of dogs would attack people. Like it's what it was. We got some people asking any questions. Or remember, if you have any questions for the guests, you can feel free to post them. Although I got some that I know I didn't mean to bring up politics, guys.
Yeah, shut it down. Shut it
What
down.
did someone else say something about
No,
politics? Oh.
no, I didn't see no one say
I've got a
that.
couple questions that came in. I know we're getting near to being here later, but I'm gonna ask these near the end. So in Texas, like you're hearing about just packs of dogs, or because I know I heard about that in Detroit or Michigan. Like there was not an epidemic, but there were like taking people down type stuff. And dogs are smart. They use the little dog to go out and lure someone in, and dogs will get them. I don't know if they're pit bull, they're just stray mutts, whatever. Do you guys strictly only do pit bulls?
No. We just someone in recovery asked us if we'd get him a little dog, and we just got a little. Like we don't care. We'll save any dog. Like if someone requests a dog, we'll save it. We'll save a dog. If you want a Chihuahua, and we'll take a Chihuahua. Like if anybody wants a little dog or any kind of dog, hit
the
me up
plug.
because
I'm the plug.
hit me up, hit Jamie up, hit up one of us
your
at Pit
number?
Squad Rescue. Fill out an adoption application.
How in
Tell
depth
us-
is that?
Tell us
an
what
adoption application. How in depth is that for someone to do?
honestly, our
probably
rescue
easier than
our
most.
rescue is the least invasive.
Okay.
And some people will go in there and be like, wow, you ask a lot of questions and there's a lot of stipulations. Some of those stipulations are in place because of previous, learning experiences.
Yeah.
There's laws.
When you gotta be
Safe
ensure
with
yourself.
This is our
like-
baby. This is her baby. Like
Right.
she's taking care. Like we have to take care of it. We're gonna do a background check. We're
Right.
gonna do this, but we're gonna believe in second chances too because we have a background. Right.
There, the majority of, I don't want to say majority, but there are rescues in Minnesota who will deny you if you have any kind of felony.
Yep.
Any kind of felony.
Yep. We're all about the.
Why didn't we
second
start
chances.
talking about this first? Look at how you got. You're way more comfy. And
I got this AC. You gave me your spot, bro. Be honest, I was hot.
I know this seat. It's something with this seat. Maybe it's the cushion in it. So I know you guys are pitsquadrescue.org. Is that what it is?
Pit
Yes.
Squad Rescue.
And what right now we got the website under, it's just under construction, it's getting fixed.
Yeah, so we do not only have 3 dogs, we have about 50 right now.
Okay.
We have anywhere from 30 to 50 dogs at all times.
At all times.
At all times.
And you guys have means of getting more if needed.
I have a list of dogs that come in that I mean, we're saying no right now.
Okay.
We're
Do
saying
you guys
we're
have a kennel or are you doing this out of your house?
foster
foster-based.
based.
Okay, sweet. Okay.
Yep. I mean, I do have 5 dogs at home.
Yeah.
I've
At all
seen,
times.
at all times.
At all times.
And I do got to say shout out to Sam because there was a couple that came over because I grabbed a dog and I was like, we got too much going on. So I gave it to a rescue partner.
Okay.
And she showed up with her husband and she was like, but I'm not going to be able to keep her. We're just temp fostering for a few days because he says no. And I'm like, I don't think that would work. So thanks, babe.
No, I push her to chase her dreams. Reach for the sky,
That's
always.
awesome.
But also try to limit what I'm doing because I can get a little carried away. I'll have 7, 8, 9 dogs at the house and then I'll be like, why am I so crazy?
I'm going fishing.
Dad needs to take a break.
I'll go fishing and I'll come home and her hair will be standing straight up. I'll be like, well, see.
I told you. How's that passion? How's the
go for
passion
it?
going?
Yeah.
You want me to go get 2 more?
So Pit Squad Rescue, it's like you're on board with it 100% too, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just let me clarify to anyone listening, like it's not. I mean, the majority of it is pit bulls, but you guys do deal with whatever canine is out there that needs some help, type stuff,
Yes.
or canine that you're looking to get.
Yes, if you fill out an adoption application and you're looking to get a dog, and they'll say like, you can type in like, and if they see something and we can see something we can take from one of the shelters, we will take them and get them to you. Yes, 100%.
Okay.
So usually there are some things like so I do have rescue partner. I will say this: I do have rescue partners all throughout Texas. And
Okay.
if there's I do not usually just pull any dog without getting the information prior to pulling that dog because we have done that before and it has turned ugly.
Okay, so you
So
guys
like
are
I
getting
did
very-
like behavioral,
right.
you know,
histories.
yes,
Yes.
good with other cats or dogs. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
I mean,
Usually
that's
not
all
cats.
valid, and like you said,
Yeah.
this is a growing thing. Like you're gonna learn
Yeah.
what's gonna be best for getting these dogs to homeowners.
We basically play matchmaker.
Yeah.
You know, like
you guys
I
are the
was
Chuck
doing,
Willery of the dog world. I
Yeah.
get it.
It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like it was really just us in the beginning, and like,
was good, right? Yeah, come on.
That was good.
babe, don't leave them hanging.
Oh, it's getting dark.
But you don't like the oh, that's why it's so dark. Okay. No, keep going. I want to hear more.
I
why
don't
it's so
even know
dark.
what. But you know what I mean. Like now we've started to build like a network, and we're looking for sponsors now. Like once our new system gets up and running, and sponsors are like somebody that will support a nonprofit and donate a certain amount of money every year.
Talk about donations and how to do that.
Donations, we have PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. We have a link on our page.
You can call our veterinarian and just pay
Our
the
vet
bill.
clinic.
Our clinic, Pet
make a
Central.
Pet
If you were to
Central Animal
call
Hospital,
Pet Central,
our bill's
we
at $7,000.
always
right
have
now.
a bill.
What
It's
do you mean you always have a bill?
always
you
there's
always owe?
always a bill
We
there.
always
Yeah,
owe.
100%.
Yes, we always
We-
owe. It's at $7,000 right now. So I did the math today. So in the last 60 days, we've had 8 adoptions. Our adoption fees, which people do have a tendency to have something to say about it, whatever, like that's fine. You know, but like if you put it into perspective, right? We have 8 adoptions at 500. It's usually 500. Some dogs are 520, depending on the tax and fees, right?
Mhm.
Let's say 520. We get 520 times 8. That's $4,160, somewhere around there,
Mhm.
right? Let's say 4,200.
Mhm.
In the last 60 days, we've racked up over a $7,000 medical bill. That's just regular. That's not it.
Dog.
That's not even including Toad's emergency
Oh.
medical bills. This is just Pet Central's bills. This is
Oh.
just for regular spay, neuter vaccines. There might be a
Mm.
couple of emergencies in there for a couple different dogs, but not anything, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't even include the but so like just to put some of that into perspective, right? So like we're starting to learn about sponsors, right? And what sponsors do. Like sponsors, donate a certain amount of money, and then once we get our new system and website running, and we can promote them. We can put their logo up and say, hey, this person sponsors us. This is how we stay afloat. We have insurances that we pay. We have, we have a dog that's in board and train that's been there for 3 months. That's $250 a week. Our entire house and yard is filled with storage stuff, kennels, crates, dog stuff, and we don't have a space. Like,
right.
So if anybody has a realtor that's willing to donate a warehouse space for a tax write-off, we got you.
Yeah. We are
Like,
501(c)(3). We can totally do it with it.
like, you know what I mean? And we got to network that. Like, this isn't like this isn't.
When it's things like this coming onto these podcasts we don't want to do, where we can get some more word out there about it, and that's what that's why I wanted to really get into talking about this, because I support what you guys do. You're helping save dogs. Like, to me, I've always raised around dogs, and I've always thought it's a good cause. And you guys learning through trials and tribulations or whatever, like how to get better info about the dogs you're getting, and making sure they're neutered, spayed, whatever you need to do to make sure that the home that's getting these dogs, they're most well equipped to receive these dogs. So with all that said, like, you guys have heard what they're talking about, and like, if you support this or you're trying to, he put the link up there, and like she said, like, they can use your help. They need your help. So if you can financially help them, please do reach out and help them. Become one of their sponsors, and if you do have some ideas about some warehouse space or whatever it is, just reach out.
Where'd you put the link?
Do we? Oh, you put it up again.
Well, I want to make sure that. Oh, he did it right. Okay.
Yeah. Did Dad do it okay?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, all right.
I just had, sometimes, he got them big fat thumbs. You know what I'm saying?
That other keyboard's way better, because this one doesn't use the shift button's goofy. Donations, fees. All right, we got some other questions. Donations. They'll accept donations, fees, vet care, like any.
We've been doing this strictly off of just like, so
word of mouth type stuff, or
so pretty much I got a fundraising entertainment at MINAC level once, and like we've hustled like to make this happen. Like, it's really honestly, like, we do fundraisers, we do stuff like that.
Speaking of,
you got one coming up?
We got an event.
We have multiple events.
Oh, so when I said like anything coming up, you thought I meant only like recovery stuff at the beginning of the show?
Originally.
Come on.
Okay,
Come
all right,
on.
so
And
here
type
it is.
it in.
Cowboy Jack's, July 22nd from noon to 2:30. We are having a silent auction, which actually Alicia is going to be assisting us with.
Alicia M?
Yep.
Okay. She's a gang of
she's
dogs over there too.
Yeah, she's beast mode.
Cowboy Jack's, Minneapolis?
New Brighton.
New Brighton, Cowboy Jack's.
New Brighton.
Okay.
We're supposed to have a ton of things to like bid on. We will have some adoptable dogs there.
Oh, there will be some canines there.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
Yep, we will. And then let's see what else.
Canine's not a good word. You'll have some pets there.
Some companions.
Puppies.
Companions, some pups.
Come get some puppy love.
Puppy love.
And then July 29th, we have a block party with Pet Central, our clinic that we partner with over Northeast.
Northeast Pest Central. Where do you know the
Central,
address?
2700 Central Avenue Northeast.
2700. You can type any of this stuff in if you want.
I can give you your seat back too.
All right. Well,
Anywho,
are you cool down?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. So, and then I think in September we're gonna do at one of the nutrition shops. Not sure exactly location, but we're gonna probably do another pancakes for pitties. They're playing musical chairs over here.
Oh shit.
So I just gotta be honest.
back
I gotta
home.
be I gotta be honest about something like earlier when it said like, you know what I mean, like honesty, whatever's in the dark will come to the light. And then like honesty, like remember how I said like when I used to come to meetings, like I would come late, leave early and all that stuff. Remember when I got here and you were like, oh, you took a shower, and I said, yeah, I had a migraine. Like originally, like my addict was like, oh, like I don't really want to get up and go do this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then, like now that I'm here and that I'm sharing, I'm like, why didn't I want to go do this? You know?
Fear. We all live in fear. Not live in fear, but
I mean,
for me,
yeah.
if I'm in a situation like this, First, let me say something else. Is every guest I've ever had on the show, everyone so far, no one's left like that sucked as much as I thought it was gonna. Everyone's like, it went quicker than I thought. I've only had one person come in here like, oh, it's so hot, and this is hot, and I'm sweating, and it's uncomfortable.
It was
It's-
fucking hot.
All right, so that's the first. There's a first time for everything, but looking back, it's usually some form of fear, like driven by hundreds of forms of fear. But I'm not saying that's what it was for you, but
Like I was like, but then I was like, I'm so tired. Like I got a
there's
migraine.
always a million reasons.
Dude, we gotta
Not excuses, reasons. And everyone's story is valid, what they tell themselves or whatever. And you had a migraine.
Yeah.
I told you downstairs, like, go, it's good. If you
Yeah.
don't, go home if you're not feeling it. Like,
But I share that because somebody even with these years of recovery, somebody said something to me on the phone the other day, and it hit me, and it's like we have a lot of events, and I am busy, and I do run myself into the ground, and like, but without my recovery, I wouldn't have anything else, and I tend to forget that. I tend to be like, oh, well, I'm busy, or I wore myself out, or I'm tired, or I had to do this, or I had to transfer it in the middle of the night. And really like, oh, so now I'm tired because I can't go to Tim's 2218 podcast. And I told myself tonight, I'm like, no matter what, like I'm going to get up and I'm going to do it. And then I got a fucking migraine. And then I was like, no. Not going to make this excuse. You know what I mean?
but
was
really,
like-
is
I
that
was
an
like,
excuse
look,
if you really got a
I was
migraine?
like, babe, go lay down, take a shower, let's do this, let's go. Like anything you put before your recovery,
You will lose.
surely lose.
There you go.
We live
No,
by
that's
that.
strong. What is it? It's Burnsville Cowboy Jacks? Or what was
New
it?
Brighton.
New
New
Brighton.
Brighton.
And what day?
July 22nd, it starts at noon to 2:30, I think, 2:30 or 3. But just be there at noon.
That's what I'm putting, noon.
Just be there at noon.
Cowboy Jacks, New Brighton. Okay, perfect. So, New Brighton. I also can't type and talk.
That's cool. I mean, I can't walk and talk, so it's whatever.
So if I misspelled it, sorry, Charlie. It's New Brighton, Cowboy Jacks, July 22nd, starts at noon. And then you guys also have a block party when?
July 29th, 10 a.m., Pet Central Animal Hospital.
Central. What was the address again?
2700?
2700 Central Avenue Northeast.
You Northeasters are weird. Your numbers are backwards.
It's always going to be better than St. Paul. Their
Yeah.
addresses suck. I mean, I'm just not from there, so I'm not well versed in it. All right. We did have one real heavy question that you guys both looked at, right? You
No,
both
I
saw
didn't-
that.
no,
Danielle
what?
said when we get married.
Who's hitting their knees? When someone
We
getting?
both have
you
rings.
guys talked about it?
Yeah, we
Like
both
I
have
saw that
rings.
you had rings on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've been engaged.
Please
for,
talk to me. Oh, you are engaged.
Yeah,
Okay.
4 years.
So, you know what? This is my own personal stuff. I'm asking you guys about this because just my own situation. Are we okay being engaged for 4 years?
Yeah.
You know you love each other and want to be with each
Yeah.
other, right?
Yeah.
And you're okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay if it were to stay that way for whatever. You know you're going to be together. Is a piece of paper going to tell you each other you love each other
I've
anymore?
heard people say once you get married, things change. I've heard that. But I mean, here's the deal. I feel like I'll be honest, like I feel like I pressured him. I feel like I pressured him because my dad was dying.
Oh,
And I wanted my dad to give me away.
right. I get it. I get that.
And
You know?
he proposed to me on April 5th. My dad passed on April 22nd.
So Dad got to see that you were going to be married. Like,
Yeah, he said, just go get her a fucking ring already, would
That's-
you?
Is that what he said?
Yeah. He's go get her a ring. I went and got a ring. I asked for his if he was good with it. He was good, and it was So
But you guys now, like in this last half hour, we've shared a lot of pit rescue, but like this right here, even this marriage things and like this clarity of what we've shared about. I usually write down the word here and then I ask you guys like why and how, but how has any of this been possible? How have you guys had to have the life you have today? Why?
God,
God,
And
higher power, Sky Daddy.
a sky daddy. I like that. All right. So your higher power. Is there anything else you guys have done that has made this life possible?
recovery and God.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Recovery.
Recovery and God.
I mean, I wouldn't have no recovery if it wasn't for God, because you know what I mean.
I like that. You guys have a strong faith.
Put recovery first, and everything else falls into place.
And yes, if your recovery doesn't come first, everything else you thought you loved will come last.
Yes.
All right, now we're gonna zip through a few questions. I asked her questions first. So, Sam, what was the biggest hurdles for you in early recovery?
Letting go of everybody I knew. All the people, mom, dad, uncle, brother, cousin, like everybody, best friends, and coming into a program where I didn't know nobody and making all new people. Surrounding myself with new people and letting go of the old ones. That's probably the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, yes. And how did you accomplish that?
One person at a time. Most of the people that I used to surround myself with, all the old friends, they kind of weeded themselves out. A lot of people would hit me up, be like, "What are you doing?" I'll be like, "I'm going to church," or "I'm going to a meeting," and they'll be like, "I gotta go." They'll fucking block you, dude. Like quick, it would be fast. So
they blocked me.
yeah, they'd block you. Or some people, like, there's once in a while I'll get somebody hit me up on Facebook and be like, "Thank you for being my hope shot." You know what I mean? Some of
Right.
the old friends, like, they'll reach out. Like, there's a lot of people clean today that I used with, that I knew back in the past. And like I said, when I first got here, no one was here, man. No one was here. And I can probably count 40 people that I know from the past now. In the last 10 years, people are coming, getting clean.
Yeah.
Either they're dying or they're getting clean. Or
That's
going to
all that's
prison.
out there. Yeah.
That's
Jails, institutions,
Yeah.
and death.
To death or get clean.
Yeah. There is. Yeah. We always forget to talk about that one. Like, there is that other.
People are getting clean. And yeah, it's weird because it's the last motherfucker you think that will get clean. And you don't get to pick them.
Nope.
You don't get to pick them.
We're in a room full of them.
So that one that walks into that meeting that you're like, oh yeah, he's not going to get it. That's probably the one that's going to get it.
Yeah, just like what you share about earlier. Everyone was like, "See you
Yeah.
back in jail."
No, yeah, I don't know why you're wasting your time with that.
Yeah, that's a hard one to hear about yourself too.
You know, like,
Yeah.
Jamie, what's the biggest hurdles that you dealt with in early recovery?
I would say getting my foundation and stop white knuckling. You know, not at a point something finally like turned where it was like, okay, like, you know, instead of going to a meeting and feeling like I was going to a fucking parole hearing or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I actually had, you know, some foundation and I was like, oh, so-and-so's going to be there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and know like we were going to go do something after the meeting and just starting to build relationship.
Getting comfortable in the rooms.
Getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just getting comfortable in the rooms. It took her a long time.
And how did you just keep doing it? Going
I
through it?
just
How
kept-
did you get over all that? Like,
I just kept doing it. Like
I know
said,
you
like,
shared about finding that sponsor that had all these girls.
Yeah. And I started calling her and just making random conversation and then started writing on steps and I would go over to her house and I would do a step and I'd be like, okay, and like I would wait for the light bulb to go off and it didn't. And you know, like there's no like magical like you know, it's it's literally like Sam put this in the best like explanation is like metaphor, whatever you want to call it. It's like losing weight. Doing the steps is like losing weight. Like you start the process. You start the process, right? But you don't see the results right away because it takes work.
It takes time.
It takes work and it takes time and you look back and you're like, oh, look at where I started and look where I'm at now. Like
you put in the work, you lose, say I do it, my weight fluctuates. So like I'll lose 50 pounds. It'll take me like 3-4 months and you'll see it, the results 3-4 months later. But when you do that step one and you get done with your sponsor and you just did that step one, you're like,
okay.
Like
am I fixed?
for me nothing changed. But down the road I can see that I didn't put my hand through the wall no more.
Right. There are some silver linings.
My anger went away, lessened. My patience lessened. I have patience today. Like
I stopped looking in car windows.
Yeah.
You stopped looking in car windows.
I so did.
Yeah. So step work.
I don't window shop no more.
Step work changes you, and you don't notice it right away, but do the steps.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And letting go of the people, the hurdles, right? The people. Oh my God, he was patient with me because I was holding on to a whole bunch of people that I was like, oh, they're getting out, and I'm gonna help them, and they're gonna do as good as I'm doing, and not, whatever. And like that was the hard part, right? Like we don't, like you said, we don't get to like pick who gets it and who doesn't, and when you're doing that, what I learned is that when I was trying to help the next one that I knew that I had a history with, and the more and like connected or more of a relationship that I had with that person, they will get you high before you can get them clean.
Yep, they will.
Yep.
So,
Every time.
And this was one of the hardest things that I had to learn. I'm like, oh, well, my homeboy's getting out. And he's like, tell him to meet you at a meeting, put him in my direction, give him a guy's number, you know what I mean? And vice versa, like that was one of the things where I was like, you're tripping. Like at first I thought it was just like a jealousy thing, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I was like, you're just mad I got a homeboy. But really, like I just had, like, and I would help even females. Like I would help like one of my best friends that was going in and out of prison at the time, you know what I mean? Like she would get out and I would do above and beyond, and I would bring her shopping, get her clothes, put money in her pocket, and I would turn around and I would get slapped in the fucking face.
Yeah.
That's one of the.
And it hurts.
That's one of the other things we learn in recovery is like, how far do we go?
Where's our boundaries?
That was the biggest for me personally was I came in these rooms I shared, like I didn't have the one or two people I knew in recovery. One was in Arizona and one was out of reach for me. So I knew nobody in recovery. So when I came in, I just thought everyone was there like I was. They wanted this. They weren't going to let nothing get in the way of what I wanted. Like higher power, sure, I'll find one. Whatever you're telling me to do, I'll do. That's what I came in doing. Like I came in on my knees crawling. I didn't want to shoot dope no more.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to not do that. So I listened to everyone, but I learned, like I made all these connections. I was clinging on to everyone. In my inpatient, Derek is the only one who's still alive out of the 6 guys I left that place with, and we were tight. I realized quick after a funeral, not everyone's on this same thought as I'm on. I learned that the ultimate hard way, that like I got to watch my recovery, but yes, you got to make some connections in these rooms. Not everyone's on this same path that you're on. And you're right. You'll get me high before I get you clean.
One of the things I personally do when I see somebody that I used to use with, I will push them towards somebody that I trust.
Right. That's safer
So
for you.
I tell my sponsees, get 5 guys' phone numbers. You know why? Because that guy that I asked to sponsor me told me to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like all my sponsees, I tell them get 5 guys' phone numbers, because if I don't answer, you got 4 more people to call, and by the time you get through them 4 numbers,
You're
you
done
have already called.
Yeah.
Even if none of them answer, you've already cooled off that much more,
Yeah.
right? You gave yourself a couple minutes, but I'm pretty sure one of them is going to answer, and then just talking to that one person for 5 minutes will change the whole.
That's where I talk about like our predecessors, or I'm like, they're methodical geniuses. Like they told me that if I'm going through some stuff, find someone who's struggling, talk to them. I'm like, about what? Anything. And they're like, I promise you'll be done thinking about whatever it was you thought you had these big problems, whether it's what they said or your mind just got interrupted with. They're just, like I said, methodical. We did have a question that just came in. And real quick, let me say, happy birthday to you. That's as far as I'm going to sing, but I love you, Rick. I'm glad you and Sean are doing good and enjoying the sun. Happy birthday, Rick. D. Question for both of your guests. What is the one thing that you regret in recovery, and why? Go ahead, whoever.
Regret in recovery?
Whether it was early recovery, whether it was yesterday. While in recovery, what's one of them things that you regretted or regret?
While in recovery. That's a good one.
I'm trying to think of something I did.
That's tough, man. Like
Yeah.
really, there is no regrets.
You know what though? For me, like I just like what I shared about, like I regret not. No, I can't even say that. Regrets like that's a tough one, Rick.
Once I turn it over to God, there is no, like, it's His will.
Right.
If I try to control stuff, I go to prison.
Or die. Like,
Or
no,
die.
you're right. You're right. Because it's not a joke.
So
I'll say-
once I turn my will and my life over to the care of God, it's what he's doing, not what I'm doing. So is there regrets? No, I'm letting him do his work.
Mm-hmm. What you were thinking of something?
I mean, when I hear regret, like it just, I mean, I don't know, it still just kind of eats at me. Is you know what I mean? My situation with my kids. You know, like
We didn't get into any of
in-
that, but
in recovery, any regrets in recovery, yeah, that we regret in recovery regrets. So that's
that's different.
before. That's
Yeah, the regrets in my using days, like there's thousands, but we can't, you know about our past. We can't, that's a question I usually talk about, but we're already at the top of the hour. But like,
What is
there-
the top of the hour?
the
Right,
10
10
o'clock.
o'clock.
I mean,
All right,
usually we
cool.
go 2 hours, but
That's-
like I said, we can go 10. I don't care. This has been my Friday night meeting for 3 years.
That's awesome.
That's it. This has become my Friday. I mean, it was Tad's idea, and things happen, and 7 different people have come and gone through this show. But this has been my Friday night meeting. I mean, I don't. It's an open speaker meeting.
It's your selfless service work.
It's
Yeah.
my open speaker meeting. So what we're gonna do is start wrapping up, and what I want to ask both of you is like, is there anything you want to bring up and share about, or get off, or bring up something that we didn't touch on, or just something that you want? Because I'm gonna talk to you guys about gratitude. That'll be the final thing. Was there something we didn't get to? Like in that message I sent you, it talks about like, we'll do what we've already done, and then at the end, if there's a topic or something you wanted to bring up, we'll make some time for it. But you didn't read it, so it don't matter. But is there anything like I didn't let you elaborate on, or anything that we missed, or that you want to bring up?
Nope.
I don't know. It's
All right, no, it's all good, and don't worry. Like I also do this as an asshole move. Would you guys be okay coming back on the show down the road, months and months down the road? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right. It wasn't too tough. Shit.
willingness.
Damn right.
I've
That
never-
keeps me clean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
willingness. Like no matter how awkward and like uneasy it is, or how much you wrap yourself up in your brain before you go and do some kind of service work, like really, like you're just helping the next addict. You know what I mean? It's not about me coming in here and sharing about my shit. It's me coming in here and sharing about some shit that might plant a seed for the next one.
Yeah, might say
Give somebody else some
life.
hope. You know, I mean, that's how I got one of my main sponsees, was that I got up in my clean time and I shared about how I was that hopeless addict, and I was a chronic relapser, and I couldn't get it. I couldn't figure it out. Like I couldn't get it. And like that gave her hope, and now she just celebrated 6 months clean.
And what's better than that? There's nothing better than that. For me,
No.
there's someone wrote us a letter 6 months into the show talking about, because you heard me say at the beginning, like, if you're struggling, reach out, and if no one's told you to, I love you. You're loved.
Yeah.
Someone out here loves you, and if no one's told you, I do. This dude had a noose. He listened to the show with a noose, tying a noose, trying to kill himself. And Tad or me, someone said, we love you. And he wrote it. He just celebrated 2 years.
Fuck, that's awesome.
But I'll not stop doing this. One person.
So when I go to the Anoka jail meeting,
That
it's
shit's
one
powerful.
or 2 or 3 people show up, man, and that's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
It's all that matters.
Yep.
And I continue to do it every 2 weeks, right? Like I show up, and the programming, Anoka County programming CO, whatever, called
The
me today.
director?
It was like, yeah, the director or whatever. She called me and she was like, "Hey, man, what's going on? Like, are you coming in? I know it's a holiday weekend." And I said, "I'll be there.
Yeah.
I'll be there." Right?
I remember the
As
first.
we got a couple of guys in the back seats talking about
Yeah,
their
some-
bids and
Some newcomers in
and
the back.
high
seat,
max.
Yeah, high max and guns and this and that. I was like, hold on 1 minute.
I'm on the jail
Yeah.
call.
Yeah.
With
I
the-
remember them
with the
guys that
sergeant.
came into detox.
Yeah.
It was the first meeting I was ever a part of, and I was in detox a day or 2 off of dope. First time in my life. He was talking. I think it was an AA meeting or something. But he was talking about like, I got 7 years and I'm thinking about going to get a bottle of Jim Beam tonight. And he was for real. Like now I look back at it, like he was struggling. Like this, but at the time I didn't understand any of this meeting shit. But I was just like, damn, like okay. But I remember that. Like I hope I can share from the heart about some stuff that someone else will remember and go collect their 5-piece.
Yeah.
Something, or just this new life. I don't care how much time you got. If you can find some happiness, that's always what I tell. Like, main thing, go have your own experience. If anything, I challenge someone to do listening is just go have an experience with this life of recovery. There's something out there for anyone, and there's a solution, and it's free. Like, you got $1, put it in the basket. If you don't, come back till you do. You will eventually have $1. And it's not about no money.
Right.
But, okay, get off my high horse. Whoop, whoop. All right, Danielle. You know what, Rick and Danielle and Sheely, so many people, if I miss you, I'm very sorry. But on this thread, I only get to see like a quarter of the people who post questions. So I apologize. But Christine and Sammers and Marty and David and
You told me there were only supposed to be 3 people on here.
yeah, but because I didn't want you guys in your head about this shit. I think I just looked and I think it was at like 400 or something already. But
Can I just share one thing?
yes,
Like,
it's your show.
well, it's our show.
Yeah,
Just no matter where you're at, don't let the phone feel heavy. Make that call. Send a message. If you're not in a place to talk, just reach out, send a message. We talk about the gifts of recovery. I kind of want to touch just briefly on like, shit does get hard.
Mm-hmm.
Shit can get hard, and it will get hard, and life on life's terms will show up in your life. And just make sure you got like those few people in your phone that you can call, that you can trust. That you have a relationship and a connection with, and and I talked about it. I shared at Midnight in April, and
Killed it.
And I literally, like, I got up there, I just got raw, and that's where it comes in. You know what I mean? That raw shit. Like, yeah, we do have all this great things that happen to our life, but it's not always just butterflies and rainbows. Like, we have to put in the work. Like, we have to, and life shows up when we don't, like, when we least expect it. And there was a time, like, Sam's been through it too. Like, there's times where, like, it's a roller coaster for us. You know what I mean? Like,
it's a roller coaster right now. Like, I'm struggling right now, but we didn't really talk about it. Like, I'm kind of struggling right now. So
right. And I got
speak
up,
on it. What do you mean you're struggling right now?
struggling.
What?
Like,
How?
I never know. Like, you don't know what you're gonna be. Like, I still don't know what I'm gonna be. I keep jumping in and out of jobs. Different
Oh, you
type of
mean
jobs.
when you become an adult, what you're gonna be when you grow
I
up?
don't know what I'm gonna be when I grow up. So I'm in the labor's union. I was doing this flagging thing. I did it for a little while, and now I'm thinking about doing something else, or what peer recovery or something else. Like, what is it? Like, I don't know. But I know one thing. Like, one thing that I do love is recovery. Like, I love going to meetings. I love the people. I love the program. But I can't figure out where.
We'll talk
what I'm
about.
gonna
We'll
do.
talk
Yeah,
after
please
about
we
share
share
this.
about everything, use over nothing.
That's
And I
right,
will-
though,
Yeah.
and that's right.
And I will say, like, when I
So-
got my 9 years, I got up and said I didn't want to fucking live anymore.
Yeah.
And that happens.
So.
But we just hold on and we just keep going no matter
Yeah.
what. Like, and we use the tools that that recovery's taught us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
You
sir.
know?
I put a hotline up there, so if anyone's thinking about any type of, like, I know she just said some stuff, and like, we struggle. It happens. It doesn't matter. Clean time doesn't equal happiness every day, and life shows up. It just shows up, and you can't stop it from showing up. But we do understand, like, it's a gift to be present for it. But if you are struggling, like,
Yeah, and Facebook
reach out.
Facebook is not real. So everybody sees me and Jamie on Facebook and think that we're perfect. Everything's great. Everything
not
looks beautiful.
perfect.
No, we just don't post our dirty laundry.
Well,
You know what?
I seen a Facebook meme that was like, "Oh, you always look so happy on Facebook," and it's like, "Well, fucking A, Susan, I'm not gonna post a picture of me crying in my room."
no, and that's we had someone on here that went really on not a tangent, but it made sense. Like, you're looking at someone's highlights of their life.
And that puts
That's
someone else in a dark place.
And it does.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at a couple, you're right, where no one's going to post some nasty shit or dark, like me pointing a finger, arguing or yelling. You're looking at someone else's life's highlights.
Yep, that's it.
You're looking at less than 5 seconds of their day, and you don't judge your life off someone else's. Don't.
Facebook's not real.
Facebook's not. Hashtag. I like that. I still like, oh,
Yeah.
the newcomer mating call.
You'll never. not do
Never,
that.
never. And I'm gonna be saying it any.
At first you were like, "Oh, this shit's dumb," but you're never
No.
gonna forget it now.
Nope, I won't. So again, if you're struggling, just reach out. We've got phone numbers up here. There's been 30 different people who have messaged on here. Make some connections. Get outside yourself. You're worth it. You're worth the fight. You're loved. Please reach out if you're struggling. Don't get jazzy yet. Sam, what are you grateful for today in life?
I'm grateful to be clean. I'm grateful to be clean. Grateful for being on the 2218 podcast and being asked to be on here. Like, I'm grateful for the relationship I have with Jamie. I'm grateful for a lot of things. Like, I'm grateful for just a second chance in life and recovery and I don't know, everything. Attitude of gratitude, right? I'm grateful for like the bad days.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Out the bathroom
I
would be no
am
good.
just grateful.
It's what we always end the show with. Jamie, what are you grateful for?
I'm grateful to feel like I'm like in a better place with Sam. And I'm grateful to be here. You know what I mean? Because he touched on it. A lot of people see us on Facebook and we're like the perfect. No, we go through shit. You know, and.
Oh, life shows up for you guys too?
Oh yeah,
shit.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh yeah. So you know what I mean? Like I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I showed up and that I didn't let, you know what I mean, my migraine become an excuse to not come be a part of this. Because you know, like I'm like I just want everybody to like get something from it, right? Like I want everybody.
That's
to,
our main purpose. Is just to
to
show up
get
and
something.
somebody to get something, and like that's doing God's
or that
work.
we, you know what I mean? Even if we do feel like we held a few people hostage for a couple hours, at least, you know what I mean, they got a message. You know what I mean? Like
We didn't hold no one hostage.
I'm
They
just
they had free will.
They shut that shit off real quick.
Nah, yeah, they know how to. Yeah, they know how to move on.
I'm just kidding.
They know how to move on.
I'm grateful that you know, I have a great support network. You know, I have people who show up for me when I'm not able to show up for myself. You know.
Grateful.
All right.
Grateful for the dogs.
The dogs.
The dogs.
All right, anyone out there in radio land, let me tell you something. 2218, that's where we're doing this podcast from this week. And just know that you're loved out there. We did get I have some information about some new meetings. There's a women's AA Fridays at 7 p.m. organized by Sharon and Colleen. Come to the first meeting and be a part of how meetings function. We'll occasionally meet outside depending upon weather here at 2218. A new women's meeting. We have Al-Anon. We have CMA is back in the house. Go ahead.
We have the dodgeball, kickball, floor
Yes,
hockey meeting.
come on. We didn't even
Tuesday
talk
nights.
about fellowship stuff. What is this? Tell me.
Tuesday-
Tuesday nights, clean and serene, 7 o'clock, 4101 Washington Street, Columbia Heights. It's a dodgeball, kickball, floor hockey meeting. And
You guys show up.
We fill the room. Like it's anywhere from 60 to 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
And just imagine 50 on 50 playing dodgeball. It's a good time. Come on out.
Sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it's good.
So there's tons of fellowship we talk about. Yeah, come on down to the club. We brought up We'll Work for Recovery. That's a place that we go get some recovery. That's 2505 North 2nd Street. And just fight for your recovery. You're worth it. If no one's told you yet today, I'll be the one to tell you. I love you. We love you.
Love you.
I'm supposed to also let you guys know that Sam and Jamie do love you, and that next week we have Twizzle on the
Twizzle dizzle.
Twizzle Dizzle.
Twizzle
Is
dizzle.
that
Yeah.
Twizzle Dizzle?
Tracy.
Yeah.
Tracy. I just have Twizzle on the. Yeah, we have Tracy on the podcast next week, and I believe he is bringing his. I'm sorry. I don't have your name written down here, but I have you on. Whatever.
Somebody
Check out next week. We're going to have a hell of a show. I will see you then. We love you. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Sam. I really appreciate you guys coming on and sharing some experience, strength, and hope. You're loved. Adios.
Bye.
I